following presentation of the National Football League.
John Fox and Jim Caldwell, a couple of 60-year-old head coaches facing each other for the first time as head coaches, and the Packers, who play San Diego later, and then the Vikings playing Kansas City, looking down on the Bears and Lions as they get ready to roll here. Amir Abdullah, who was benched after fumbling last week as a running back, is back to receive the opening kick. The Bears won the toss, deferred, so elected to have Robbie Gould booted away. 2-3 Bears, 0-5 Lions, underway at Ford Field. It bounces through the end zone, and a good kickoff for Gould and the Bears, so the Lions and Stafford taking over at the 20-yard line. Benched after throwing an interception on Detroit's first possession of the third quarter last week, but you see when he has the hot hand, he puts up very good numbers. That's his career average, suffering the interceptions which cost him, and as his coach said, it's like sending a starting pitcher out. You bring him back, and that's what he's doing with Stafford.
He's got to be much better today. This whole offense has to be much better today. More efficient. Get the ball to Calvin Johnson. Get this thing rolling finally here in Detroit.
And Abdullah starting at running back as well. Stafford throwing and completing. Calvin Johnson just across the 27-yard line. Joique Bell remains inactive with the ankle injury. Tim Wright starting at tight end. Both Brandon Pettigrew and Eric Ebron inactive because of injury. And on the offensive line, the first-round draft pick from Duke, Laken Tomlinson, starting over Manny Ramirez, and they have struggled opening up holes for the Lions running game. Abdullah gets a first down. Working against a Bears defense, a 3-4, 3-down linemen, 4 linebackers. First time in the history of the Bears franchise. And Eddie Goldman moving to the nose tackle. Ego Ferguson put on injured reserve. Pernell McPhee has played outstanding at the linebacker spot. And a couple of rookies at the safety spots. Alan Ball getting to start the secondary over Tracy Porter.
20! Ready, double! Scoop!
On 1st and 10, Amir Abdullah. Plenty of running room. Close to another Lions first down. He rushed for a season-high 50 yards on 7 carries in week 1. Comes in as the team's leading rusher.
You know, they only have one tight end up, so they bring in Cornelius Lucas here as a tight end, and it'll be this way all day. The offense is going to have to change up because both Brandon Pettigrew and Eric Ebron are on the bench. Tim Wright is the only active tight end, and they get a good run out of it right there.
77 is Lucas, the free agent from Kansas State in his second year. Zach Center is in at running back. Stafford, plenty of time, and open is Golden Tate. Down to the 35-yard line. Looked like the Bears had him stopped, but Tate, a former running back, kept running.
I'll tell you what, this Lions offense has been missing this dynamic. I know earlier in the year, Golden Tate had some of these great routes or runs after the catch, but the last 2 weeks he's disappeared. Get the ball in his kid's hands and let him do this. He is spectacular sometimes when he's running in the open field.
A gain of 22 and Center remains the back. Zach Center with the carry, runs into a stone wall. Center, the first player in the history of the NFL to have the initials ZZ.
I love your observation.
When a team starts out 0-5, you got to come up with something here. But he's the first running back in Division I history to rush for 2,000+ yards in 3 straight seasons when he was at South Dakota State, and he takes a breather as Theo Reddick checks in. Theo Reddick, the leading receiver among running backs for the Lions. And Theo Reddick Brought down right away.
I was pretty sure when Theo Riddick's in the game, it's going to be a pass, usually to him. He not only leads the Lions, he leads the league in receptions from the running back position. But Zach Zinner, who's coming back into the game right now, actually both Zinner and Theo Riddick are in the game right now. He is a heck of a story. We'll get to talk about him later in this game, and I think we'll see a lot of touches from 34 today as well.
For a team that was booed at home in that blowout loss last week, they come out moving the football. And Center is back in at running back.
Theo Riddick's in the slot right here.
On 3rd and 6, Stafford will get the first down and slide inside the 24-yard line. He doesn't run a lot, but there was a lot of room for Stafford.
He had a ton of daylight in here. Look how wide both of these tackles are right here. When they rush outside of both guards, Matthew Stafford's not dumb. Look, I'll just take that. You're going to give me that much room? I'll take this first down. Easy, moving the chains, and Detroit's on a nice little opening drive here.
They have taken it from their own 20 down to the 23 of Chicago. Abdullah back in at running back, the rookie from Nebraska.
Let's go 22. Hey, 59.
Stafford with time again. Floats this toward the end zone, and no, Calvin Johnson could not make it in bounds.
Good coverage back down here by Tracy Porter, and it is out of bounds. Matthew Stafford had this connection for a long, long time, and you can almost put it anywhere on the field with Calvin Johnson. He'll get a chance to complete it, but that was just a touch out of bounds.
Of his 50 targets prior to this game, only 8 have gone beyond 15. That was from 23 out. Abdullah on a delay handoff. He gets to the 20-yard line, brought down by Lamar Houston, coming off the ACL surgery for the Bears, part of that 3-4 alignment.
Well, I think some of this is going to change today, Chris. I think we're going to see some more vertical passing with this offense. And I've heard it been described as a catch and run type offense. So that's why Calvin Johnson only has 10 yards per catch. Everything's underneath. Let the athlete run after the ball. But when you have this guy, you have to throw some shots up to him. And Chicago plays a lot of 3D, man-to-man on the outside. See if we get a shot of it right here against Tracy Porter again.
59.
On 3rd down and 8, Stafford with plenty of time. Touchdown Lions! Right on target to Lance Moore.
Well, that was a nice, confident drive by the Detroit Lions. Lance Moore in the slot here. They're playing man-man, two-man, really. Two-man underneath, safeties over the top. That was just a really nice route by Lance Moore, shaking his defender. And look at the throw. Tight spiral, right on time. Nice drive to start the game for the Detroit Lions.
Not the same old Lions. Fans happy to see Matthew Stafford settling in, taking the team 80 yards, and Matt Prater, the extra point, good work on handling the snap. And the Lions take the opening kickoff. Stafford to Moore, and leads 7-0.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest. Transparency, no fares, nothing to hide.
With Rondé Barber, Chris Myers here at Ford Field, and an impressive opening drive considering what the Lions have been through. They've lost some close games during this 0-5 stretch, but a fast start at home. Stafford 4 out of 5 on that drive and had plenty of time to throw.
Hey, you know what? I don't think they're as bad as their record says they are. I know they've 0-5. You are what your record says you are. But they lost close games to start the season. You know what they did, what should have happened in the Seattle game. This is a better team than I think people give them credit for. We'll see how they handle their success here to start early to start this game.
Sam Martin with the kickoff pass, Mark Mariani, and the Bears have come out to the 20, trailing 7-0. Stafford said, "You can't play scared." They didn't on that drive.
Today's game is sponsored by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly.
Jay Cutler missed most of week 2 in a loss to Arizona, all of week 3. coming back from a hamstring injury and leading the Bears to victories over Oakland and Kansas City with 2 touchdowns in each of those wins. From the 20-yard line, trailing here, quick pass, Eddie Royal already making himself known. Royal has been out with an ankle injury, and a slot receiver who Cutler is glad to have back in the lineup, and also Alshon Jeffrey coming back off the hamstring for the first time since week 1. And without a huddle, they go right to the line on 2nd down and 1. Matt Forte moving everybody up past the 35 for a first down Bears. On that offensive line, Charles Leno Jr. in for Jermon Bushrod once again. And the Lions, without DeAndre Levy, had that hip surgery. Haloti Ngata is out with a calf injury in the secondary. James Ahedebo is out today. Kudus starting with Quinn. Cutler on first down, wide open. Martellus Bennett, who leads the team in receptions, has battled a quad and hip injury and gets a first down.
Yeah, James Ahedebo being out of this game is a big blow for the Detroit Lions. I mean, he is in my opinion, the emotional and physical leader of this unit. You know, DeAndre Levy not having his out-of-the-box type of plays that he makes hurts, but James Ahedebo has been really solid for him this year, and Isa Abdul-Quddus has a big job today trying to fill in those shoes.
Matt Forte to the 47 of Detroit after a play that previously picked up 12 yards. In his 8th season with the Bears, Forte's missed only 5 games in his entire career. It's tough to even give him a break to get him off the field.
Yeah, we'll get a heavy dose of Matt Forte as we should. It's, you know, Adam Gase, the offensive coordinator here in Chicago, told us it's difficult to find opportunities to give him a break, and I honestly don't blame him. He's a really, really good football player.
2nd down, Cutler with time. Forte, there he is, 2nd on the team in receiving with a first down to the 40. Stephen Tulloch making the stop. Let's get a game break. So hi to Kurt Menefee. Kurt?
Hi, Chris Myers. The Bengals trying to remain unbeaten, taking on Buffalo. E.J. Manuel getting the start for Tyrod Taylor, who's out with a knee injury. Runs it in for a 7-0 lead early in the ballgame. Chris, Rondé, and Jen.
Thank you, Kurt. Rex Ryan, what a job he's done with the Bills. As Royal on a catch and carry. And Eddie Royal is loose. All the way down to the 10 of the Lions. Clover Quinn saved a touchdown.
Nothing easier for a quarterback to get him going quick in games, and these little screen passes, and this team does a lot of it. And when you bring Eddie Royal into the equation, I mean, this guy, he's 5'9", went to the combine 8 years ago, put up 225 pounds 24 times. I mean, this guy's a stud. They are so happy to have him back in the lineup.
A gain of 30. It's 1st and goal. Forte will lose a yard. Josh Bynes, who was one of those who addressed the team in the locker room after the embarrassment of last week, was quick to make the stop.
Yeah, we talked earlier about Isa Abdul-Quddus having big shoes to fill. How about his shoes? He's got to fill DeAndre Levy's shoes on this defense, on that weak side linebacker position. Have a tough go at it, but that was a nice splash play there.
Alshon Jeffrey, top of your screen. Cutler has it and gets inside the 10, where it'll be 3rd and goal. Lions were prepared for that fake.
Yeah, how about that design run for Jay Cutler?
Was that a design run?
I think it was a design run. I mean, it's a read option, and I think he saw the defensive end crashing down and said, you know what? I'm a better runner than Matt Forte. No, I'm just kidding. He's not a better runner than Matt Forte. But it was just a read option. Everybody in the league has this in now. He just took his opportunity.
He is 2nd on the team in rushing. Forte out as a receiver. Jeffrey, bottom of your screen. On 3rd and goal, Cutler, end zone throw, knocked away around the goal line. He was trying to get it to Martellus Bennett, but Bynes was good on the coverage.
Good throw in there, but great coverage by Josh Bynes. I mean, Martellus Bennett, when you're a defender, whether it's a safety or a linebacker, one thing that he does as good as anybody is get big, turns into a basketball player like in the post, and Jay Cutler knows this. That was just finds his ability to get around here, make this play, get his hand on the ball, and calls that an incompletion. It was a damn good play.
Robbie Gould, who set the Bears' career scoring record with his second field goal last week, comes into week 6, one of 9 kickers who's yet to miss a field goal try. This is from 27 yards out, and he's good. Now 12 out of 12, and the Bears take their opening drive and have to settle for a field goal. Lions have won 4 straight of this series. Looks like another close one.
Is sponsored by DraftKings. Free one-week fantasy football at DraftKings.com. By Jurassic World on Blu-ray and DVD October 20th. And by Pizza Hut. Bring home the flavor with a twisted crust pizza.
Whatever it takes. A superhero performance from Matt Stafford on the Lions' opening drive. Cutler moves the team downfield, but a Robbie Gould field goal was all they could come up with. And the Bears trying to win their 3rd straight. Ready to kick off with Gould. Amir Abdullah back to receive. If he gets the chance, he's bringing this out of the end zone. And the Bears special teams, they've had 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns against them this year. The most by a Bears team since 1952, but they did the job there. Second possession for the Lions. You know, the Bears had 9 sacks in their last 3 games, but didn't come close to Stafford last series.
And he was very clean in that pocket. One of the problems with this offense has been protecting their quarterback. They did a good job on that first drive.
Zach center. And works to get a couple of yards up across the 21-yard line. And we check in with Jennifer Hale.
Well, Chris, Joe Lombardi pulled Matt Stafford aside just before the Lions took the field today and told him, hey, I want you to think of last week like a video game gone wrong. All you have to do is hit the reset button and start over. Lombardi told me it's very important for Stafford to learn from his mistakes, but also not to play scared. And indeed, so far, Chris, he looks like he's being aggressive today.
Stafford said first time ever in his career benched. Little League, Pee Wee, whatever, was last week. Didn't like it. Hopes it never happens again. And the pitch to Amir Abdullah, trying to get around the edge and up near the first down marker.
Not liking it, I think, would be putting it kindly. He told us that he was, and in not so many words, he was pissed about it. He has no intention of letting that performance ever repeat itself. And I can't imagine him. The words were ball of rage. I can't imagine him not being a better quarterback today than he was last week.
Well, that was a 42-17 drubbing here, but tacked on to 4 previous losses, and it all kind of came rolling down on the Lions.
Bring up 59, check him! 20!
Who face a 3rd and 1, and Stafford looks to throw, and he's going to go down. He had a few moments, but the Bears, Goldman and Jenkins, got to him.
Well, he had nowhere to get rid of this ball. Bobbled snap to start the whole thing. But you're 3rd and 1. You're trying to make an emphasis of running the football. Just turn around and hand it off. It sets a tone for your offense when you're able to run the ball in those situations. And they tried to pass in Chicago, what you just mentioned, got after 9 sacks in the last couple of games. Get after him again right here.
Yeah, and Lombardi, the offensive coordinator, feeling a lot of heat from fans and maybe some players from what you hear in the locker room. Martin with a high kick. Mariani from the 29. And they'll get knocked down around the 32-yard line. Stafford frustrated after success in the opening drive. This one stalls. On 3rd and 1, they tried to throw the ball. Bears take over on offense. Well, in Chicago, they talk about the new and improved Jay Cutler, and we asked him about it. He seemed happier. You sit in production meetings with him when you have a chance before a game to sit without cameras, as happy as we've seen him in years.
Well, I've never sat down with him, but my initial impression was, yeah, he's happy. Happy with his staff, I think, most importantly. Obviously happy with the 2 wins that they've been able to get these last couple of weeks.
And set to throw on first down. Alshon Jeffrey with the catch. Yeah, he told Chicago radio, that's Jeffrey's first catch of the game. This is the best coaching staff he's ever been around, and then reiterated that with us, top to bottom, from John Fox to his offensive coordinator, Adam Gase.
John Fox is great. He's been around for years. Lots of competition with me when he was in Carolina.
Forte, and the Lions keep him from gaining the first. Let's get a game break. Check in with Kurt Menefee.
Arizona's Carson Palmer with his league-leading 14th touchdown pass of the year. That one to Michael Floyd, 7-0. They lead it in Pittsburgh. Chris?
All right, thank you. Lions have seen enough of Arizona.
Everybody's seen enough of Arizona at this point.
But an early test for the Lion defense, Ronde, on 3rd and 2. Jay Cutler from the pocket, on target, falling forward, and looks like he has enough for the first down as Alshon Jeffrey. Tulloch was right there with him. Jeffrey returned to practice after not playing since week 1 with that hamstring, and they kept waiting week to week, missing 4 games. When would he come back? In the opener, he led the Bears with 5 catches in that tough game against Green Bay. They'll pace him throughout the course of this game.
180!
Cutler fakes to Forte. Open. First down, Jeffrey. Inside the 35 of the Lions.
Yeah, Jeffrey is getting some work on this drive. It's nice to have him back in the offense, Jay Cutler saying. Watch this by Jay Cutler. The mobility in the pocket. He doesn't look full speed, obviously, but he's such a big target, and Jay gets nice delivery. This is overlooked right here, Jay Cutler. His ability to move around in the pocket this year has been much better than I've seen in the past.
That was one of the things John Fox said right away, the athletic ability. Adam Gase said the same thing. We know he's got a great arm, but for Cutler to be able to move around and hit a target, and he did there. And he's throwing again. Knocked away. Marquise Wilson, the intended target, and he was the guy who held up the receiving corps, along with Cameron Meredith and Josh Bellamy, when Royal and Jeffrey were out.
And this guy's got a lot of talent. Now, he's fought some injuries early in his career, came back his second year when he thought he was going to get some playing time and broke his collarbone. But in the absence of those other 2 guys, Alshon and Eddie Royal, he's really stepped up.
Hey, Buffalo! Hey! Sit down!
From the 33, Forte puts some moves on, gets inside the 25 of Detroit, and that'll bring an end to the opening quarter. It started with a Stafford touchdown toss. Bears answer with a field goal, and Chicago's on the move again. The Lions lead at the end of 1, 7-3. Bears in striking distance, facing a 3rd and 1. From the 24, there's a flag down. Good enough for the first down as Forte. It looked like the Lions had jumped. Just said no penalties. I jinxed us here.
Offside, number 57, defense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Walt Coleman, our referee, most senior referee in the league, 27th season, and his group have called the fewest penalties per game so far this year.
I'm not sure if they accepted or declined it. I think Jay Cutler was trying to tell him to decline it so Matt Forte could keep his yardage.
Fresh set of downs for the Bears. Cutler 7 out of 9 so far. On target to Forte. Ball comes out. Looked like it bounced back on top of Forte. And second down, the official saying Forte recovered his own fumble.
He got a little bit lucky here. This hit here by Ziggy Ansah, that ball could have gone anywhere. Just a great recovery by Matt Forte, the awareness.
He's lucky and good. Forte out of the 6.
It's like my golf game sometimes. Sometimes better to be lucky than good. But Matt Forte is a little bit of everything. And it's, like we said in the open, as he comes out of the game. It's hard to not get him the ball. He's not out of the game. I'm sorry. He's just coming out line up outside. It's hard not to get him the ball. Adam Gase has to struggle to find ways to get other people involved because he is so good and demands so much of his attention. Down at the bottom of your screen right here. See if he gets any matchup if he comes back to the backfield.
On 1st and goal from the 6. And a whistle here and a timeout before the snap. The Lions called it.
First team timeout. Detroit. 30-second timeout.
Here in the second quarter, producer Mike Burks, our director Michael Frank, and our view here at Ford Field, and a good one. A good start for the Lions, who needed it. Needed something, but the Bears, important for Detroit to keep Chicago out of the end zone here.
I think it is. You know, this Detroit, I mean, besides what's going on in this stadium, they're trying to keep the positive energy after that first drive. This Lions defense has struggled somewhat on these last 2 drives with them getting down to the field. Now, last time they were able to keep them out of the end zone. See if they can get a stop here on these next couple of plays here and get to a 3rd down situation.
All right, and let's look at this situation. You got Alshon Jeffrey's back. They've used him. You've got Matt Forte. What should the Lions be looking for here?
Well, they should be looking for Matt Forte, just like every single play. You know, Alshon Jeffrey, you got Eddie Royal. They're all up here in a bunch. A lot of times they do that just so they can draw the attention of the defense over there and get the ball to number 22.
And it is number 22, and they swarm Forte as he gets him just a little bit closer. It'll be 2nd and goal.
Every good offense, and Adam Gase, the offensive coordinator, has done a lot of things, been in a lot of different systems with a lot of different coaches, but every good offense wants to run the ball in the red zone. And when you got Matt Forte, turn around and hand the ball off to him, let him do his work. And this offensive line, Chris, they've reshuffled a little bit. Week 6 of the season, I think they're coming into their own. Let them get this guy into the end zone.
Bring in an extra lineman. Handoff. Touch. Well, let's see. The officials are saying, hold on a moment. Jeremy Langford got the carry, and they're going to give him the touchdown. The rookie from Michigan State. Fox sent him in with the extra lineman, and he punches it in.
Haven't seen a lot of Jeremy Langford. He's out there in this kind of wing T type lineup, 3 backs in the backfield. It's just a quick dive. Lions caught unawares, thought that ball was going to Matt Forte perhaps, and a little dive falls in for a touchdown. And you know, he woke up happy this morning after that Michigan State win, didn't he?
And Michigan
now he gets his first touchdown of his career.
Michigan fans still in disbelief the way that Michigan State game ended. But Langford punches it in for the touchdown. His 2nd NFL touchdown. And Robbie Gould with the extra point. Gives the Bears a 10-7 lead. Langford drafted in the 4th round, comes back to Michigan as a Bear and finds the end zone. Jeremy Langford with the touchdown, and the moment he was drafted, Matt Forte took him under his wing, worked out with him in the offseason. John Fox said he doesn't have a rookie mentality. His approach is what we want, and he approached the end zone for the Chicago score as T.J. Jones will bring it out. And get up across the 21-yard line, where the Lion offense will take over, now trailing by 3. Tomorrow night, Game 3, ALCS with the Blue Jays and Royals. Coverage beginning on FS1, streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Of course, the Cubs and Mets. Bill Murray excited about the Cubs, also excited about this Bears team. And Jay Cutler, he's been a defender of Cutler. Bill Murray, that movie Rock the Casbah, being talked about just as much as the Cubs are. Stafford to throw. Abdullah hit hard right away and knocked to the ground. Kyle Fuller, who has improved his play in the last couple of weeks after a rough start to the season.
Yeah, he had a great start to his career, if you remember, coming in as a rookie. Yeah, but he has struggled a little bit. They're asking him to do a lot of man coverage on the outside. There's his brother, Corey, who plays receiver for the Lions, of course.
They'll match up at some point,
Match up at some point, yeah. I remember matching up with my brothers over the years. We'll try to make as big a deal as we possibly can.
Go first.
So after Amir Abdullah, this is Zach Zenner trying everything from A to Z to get the ground game going.
Zach Zenner took a shot at the end of this run. See him getting up kind of slow here. But he really fits the mold for the type of running game that I think is needed here in Detroit. He's one stick, foot in the ground, and getting downhill. You know, Amir Abdullah, for all his skill, dances a little bit in the hole, and of course Jordan Bell has been hurt for a lot of this season.
And Zenner leaning over in pain as they measure. The crowd will help Zenner and us to see if they got the first. And Walt says that's how much. That expression, the game of inches, not a cliche.
It's not a cliche. It's a game of lengths. I think when
it's a better description.
You know, centers come out of the huddle and they grab the ball and they always move it up at least that much. I mean, so before this next play even goes off, it's going to be a first down. We'll see what play they call. I'd just call a sneak. Let your quarterback fall for that quarter of an inch, whatever that was.
And hope that Zenner is okay. We'll check on his health. The Lions came in averaging just 49 yards a game on the ground. Historically one of the worst in a 5-game stretch in the league. Zenner seems to be okay, smiling at the moment. And Amir Abdullah comes in with Michael Burton, the fullback. They keep it on the ground and get the first down to the 34-yard line. Last time on 3rd and short, you were questioning the attempted throw.
Yeah, they only had a few first downs running the ball, and they come out running it today. I mean, that 49 yards average per game rushing is pathetic. You know, it's not hyperbole, I think, to say that this offensive line is the reason this team has struggled. They're performing well today, protecting Matt Stafford, seeing the running game come alive a little bit today, see if they can keep it going.
The start of Tomlinson and Warford back in the lineup on that line. And Stafford has to move out of the pocket, and he's going to go down at the 20. Ran right into the arms of Jonathan Anderson. And it looks like there's a flag down as well.
Offside, number 93, defense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
That'll negate the sack. Will Sutton offside for the Bears.
Well, Matthew Stafford was looking. He saw that he had a free play here. He was looking for a shot down the field. The pocket collapses on him. He takes his sack, but I think he knew that this. You see him right there when he goes to the ground. He knew that this play was going to come back.
And Stafford told us this offense needs better tempo. They need better pacing. And however he can get it, he had it on the opening drive. Now with a 1st and 5, a good situation for Stafford to throw. And there's Calvin Johnson, who's loose inside the 20 of the Bears.
Well, that'll help his yards per catch. Little play action pass. Good block in the backfield by the running back here to open up an opportunity for this pass. And what I like about this throw is that Matthew Stafford got that out of his hands so fast. That ball hit Calvin Johnson right out of as he was coming out of his break, and it gives him that opportunity to get these yards after the catch.
A gain of 43 yards. One of the bigger plays. They haven't had a lot of explosive plays on this Lion offense this year. Abdullah down to about the 15. Let's get another game break. Check in with Kurt. There's a late flag before we check with Kurt.
All right, Akeem Talib with a 63-yard interception for Denver at Cleveland. Their defense doing everything for the Broncos right now. They lead at 10-0. Now we'll let you explain that flag, Chris.
Thanks, Kurt.
Personal foul, grasping the face mask, number 49, defense. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
Call on Sam Acho.
Well, that helps the calls here for the Detroit Lions. That running play went nowhere. You get a penalty to push this ball inside the 10-yard line. And Jim Caldwell was telling us that they have a lot of problems on both sides of the ball. And penalties help. There's the face mask, and it really doesn't even look like he grabbed it. That, to me, looked like he grabbed his jersey. I think they got away with one right there.
Theo Riddick is in for the Lions. Stafford looked that way. End zone throw, corner of the end zone. Tim Wright. And the Lions with a touchdown. Not the original target of Stafford.
Not at all was he the original target. And there's very few quarterbacks in the league that can get away with finding these funny arm angle throws like Matt Stafford. Take a look here at Tim Wright. All he really does is stay alive in this route. He ends up on Kyle Fuller, and the ball just comes in. Fuller never turns around to find the football. But this was all Matthew Stafford, finding or having the ability to buy some time in the pocket, and then with the pressure in his face, using that sidearm underneath delivery that he sometimes uses and getting a nice ball out to Tim Wright.
Was reviewed and confirmed, as all scoring plays and turnovers are. And Matt Prater, who's missed one extra point this year, will give the Lions a 4-point lead. Stafford, 2 touchdown passes in this game. Wright with his first touchdown catch as a Lion, as a former Buck and Patriot. Stafford liked what he saw, even if he didn't see it. Zach Zenner headed to the locker room after some tough runs and hits in that last drive. Tim Wright with his first catch as a member of the Lions. Stafford 3 out of 3 on that drive to respond to the Jay Cutler, Jeremy Langford drive. Mariani for the Bears, weaving his way up the sideline. Martin Mariani. Here comes a flag, and he's knocked down at midfield. A second flag thrown. A 57-yard return pending the flag or flags.
During return, holding, return team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Didn't give us an official number, so it'll back the Bears up to the 23-yard line. See if we can find it, Rondé, on the return.
Yeah, I think it's got to be somewhere on the right of your screen here. Maybe on 53 on Van Noy right there. I mean, it's right at the point of the tackle. Could be right there on Nevin Lawson.
Matt Forte. Here comes a flag as he gets up across the 26. Jeremy Langford carries, who had the touchdown run moments ago.
Holding, number 75, offense, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
That's Kyle Long called for the infraction, and that game taken off the board. So 2 penalties have backed the Bears up inside their own 15.
You know, it's a situation where if you listen to Jay Cutler talk about his play calling this year, they try to find ways to protect him. Now, I expect them to not do anything other than try to get 6 or 7 yards on this next play, so that on second down they get an opportunity to get back into a manageable third down situation.
And Langford remains the back. He gets the carry and gets up around the 17-yard line. And a bruised chest on Zach Zenner is what the Lions are telling us, with a questionable return. Remember, Joique Bell is already out for the Detroit running game.
Yeah, if you're Chicago now, you run the ball there. It gives you a 2nd and 16. And now Jay Cutler, all he has to do is try to get 7 or 8 yards here. And then it gives him a chance to convert the third down in a much manageable situation. Just smart way to protect your quarterback instead of dropping him back and letting this Detroit Lions D-line tee off on him.
4 out of 5 in each of the first 2 drives that produced points. The screen to Langford, and Jeremy Langford gets up near the first down.
Jeremy Langford is an explosive player. Weren't they telling us that yesterday, Chris?
And he got the first down.
He did get the first down there, and you saw the easy play call there. Nothing to look down the field, nothing to put your quarterback under duress. Get the ball out of his hands into a playmaker's hand, and Jeremy Langford, they're able to pick up the first down on 2nd and long.
He's played in all 5 games this year. Whenever Forte needs a break, Forte back in, pass caught, looking for blockers. Martellus Bennett, who's actually, at least according to the team, they complimented his blocking as there was a flag down on that play.
And Martellus Bennett is one heck of an athlete.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 27, defense. 15 yards from the end of the play, first down.
And that's on Glover Quinn, the leader of the defense, from his safety spot.
Yeah, look at that incredulous look on his face. You know, I saw him come in late at the end of this play, and I mean, come on, man.
I mean, you can't take a chance on a running back breaking
he
it
essentially
loose.
just laid on him. I wouldn't call that malicious by any degree.
The boos here at Ford Field are not for the Lions. They're for the officiating crew.
Tonight.
1st and 10, 48-yard line. Cutler, pressure coming, and gets rid of it.
That play was trying to get to Martellus Bennett. We were just mentioning him a second ago. He's got great size. He's, 6 whatever. It looks like a basketball player when you stand next to him.
6'6" is what he's listed as.
Yeah, can you imagine me trying to cover that guy?
Have you tried?
No, I have not, thank God. But he does awesome things in the run game as well, which not a lot of people give him credit for, but that this offense really appreciate him adding that element as well as being a great pass catcher.
Langford back in at running back. And Jeremy Langford has to fight to get into Lion territory. He went to John Glenn High in Westland, Michigan. That's about 20 miles west of Ford Field. The Rockets had almost 2,000 yards there as a senior, then went on to Michigan State and emerged as a star as they go without a huddle. On 3rd down, Cutler on the move, gets out of it, and heaves it deep in the area of Jeffrey. Alshon Jeffrey inside the 5 of the Lions. A little bit of Cutler magic.
People in the stands are yelling down at the field, calling this pass interference on Alshon Jeffrey as he threw Kudus out of the way. But look at Jay Cutler here. That was a dead-to-right sack by 2 Detroit Lions, and he didn't put up a pretty ball, but it had enough airtime that Alshon Jeffrey, you can see 42 on the ground right there, and that's what people are booing. They thought he threw him to the ground.
4th catch of the day for Alshon Jeffrey. Langford in at running back. Cutler to throw. Eddie Royal ran into his own man and got knocked down at the 5. It'll be 2nd down and goal. Looked like Kudus was on the ground. How he got there?
Now there was
only
a little
Jeffrey knows for sure.
There was a little tussling down there at the goal line, and I mean that was a punt. Man, that ball was in the air forever.
The elusiveness and arm strength of Cutler made it happen. A gain of 40-plus yards. 45 to be exact. Pressure coming. Incomplete. Coverage in the end zone was good on Eddie Royal. Josh Wilson, the nickel, was running with number 19 of the Bears. Now it'll be 3rd and goal.
3rd and goal, 5 yards to the end line. Alshon Jeffrey's going to split out down to the right of your screen. You got a bunch set up top. Jay Cutler's got the option. Am I going to single up my big number 17 down here, or is he going to use the combination routes at the top of the screen?
Cutler's throw knocked away. Martellus Bennett the target to Tahir Whitehead on the spot. Field goal unit coming out for John Fox and the Bears. An impressive stand after the big play to Alshon Jeffrey.
Second impressive stand for the Detroit Lions in the red zone, and this is Tahir Whitehead. Earlier in the game, it was number 57 for the Lions, now number 59 on Martellus Bennett does the job again, and they're forcing a field goal opportunity.
He hit from 27 today. This from 23, Robbie Gould, and he's golden. Bears cut the Lions lead to 1. 4:50 to go before the half. The Lions defense keeps the Bears out of the end zone.
Fox is sponsored by FanDuel, the leader in one-week fantasy football.
With Rondé Barber, Chris Myers here at Ford Field, and the Lion defense, which had been pushed around, hanging tough to keep the Bears out of the end zone. Matt Forte did not have a touch on that drive for Chicago as they trail 14-13. And TJ Jones gets stopped short of the 15-yard line. Brought it out of the end zone, where the Lions and Matthew Stafford will take over with a 14-13 advantage over the Bears. Here in Detroit, that's what it must feel like to be a Lions fan this year. 9th time the franchise has started 0-5. Last time was 2008 when they went 0-16. But they have the lead here. Amir Abdullah with a big hole. And a first down up across the 26-yard line.
Great blocking on the right side of the offensive line here for the Detroit Lions. Larry Walford is back, number 75 for this unit. And they run right over to his side, and he's able to push his guy out of the way and get a big hole there for Amir Abdullah.
Came in as the team's leading rusher, averaging over 5.5 yards a carry today. And he gets the pitch again. And Bears swarm 3 or 4 Bears over there to keep him from gaining more yardage. Let's get a game break again. Check in with Kurt Menefee.
All right, the Bengals and the Bills. Gio Bernard, little handoff, big results. 17-yard touchdown run, breaks a 7-all tie midway through the second quarter. Chris, Rondé, and Jen.
All right, thank you, Kurt. Standings in the AFC North after Pittsburgh's last second win on Monday night. After no gain, extra pressure is picked up. Stafford to Lance Moore, who has the touchdown catch, and he's got a first down catch.
Protection has been outstanding today for these Detroit Lions offense. Matthew Stafford has plenty of time. He looks confident in the pocket. They're able to vary up the play calling because they can run the ball. And most importantly, Chris, they haven't turned it over. I mean, the game last week was ridiculous for this team because of the turnovers. It wasn't as bad a performance as people think. And when you add those 6 turnovers, it just kills your team. They've been really good at it today.
They have turned the ball over the most of any team in the NFL this year. Stafford with time through the hands of Golden Tate. Also had Calvin Johnson streaking toward the middle of the field. Calvin Johnson with 2 catches today, also a couple for Lance Moore. And Tate with 1 so far.
Yeah, Golden Tate goes to the sideline there. It looks a little bit uncomfortable after that fall. But Matthew Stafford's been good today. Only 2 incompletions. It's more like the guy that they expect to be their franchise-type quarterback.
Amir Abdullah on a delay. Knocked to the ground. Stafford 8 out of 10. He's already over 100 yards and already has a couple of touchdown tosses. And as Ronnie just pointed out, no mistakes, no turnovers, no interceptions. And that's helped the Lions. Lance Moore and Tim Wright, the unlikely Lions you'd think would be in the end zone, but it has Detroit out to a 14-13 advantage. Bears using a timeout here And the Lions will be facing a 3rd down and 8. Chicago with 2 remaining, same for the Lions. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles.
Our entire team is getting you ready for the Visa halftime. When we come back, the Broncos defense lighted up in Cleveland. The Bills try to hand the Bengals their first loss, and the Chiefs have to make up for the loss of Jamal Charles. We'll break it all down for you with highlights as we move closer to the Visa halftime.
All right, Kurt, look forward to that, and fans of the Lions and Bears watching that Minnesota game closely. Of course, the Packers, who lead the division undefeated, playing the Chargers later today.
Hey, split!
3 of 4 on 3rd down so far. Theo Riddick, receiving running back, is in.
Right.
Stafford gets out of it. Trying to get the first down, and he does! In Bear territory. Spinning, twisting, turning, first down Lions.
What a great effort there by Matthew Stafford. Good decision not to force this ball down the field. Pocket collapse on him. Good job by Theo Riddick picking up the initial pressure. And just look at it, spinning. I don't think Matthew Stafford has that much athleticism ever. And breaks a tackle of Sam Acho and falls to the first down.
The Lions have the lead. They have the football. We've reached the 2-minute warning. You can get apps, videos, and a lot more at itunes.com/NFL. Stafford came in with just 20 yards rushing for the entire season. He's run for 20 yards on 2 carries today. Sets up a first down with 2 timeouts. Amir Abdullah to the 42 of Chicago. Well, this Bears defense, statistically, Rondé, came in top 5, but Stafford and this Lion offense have matched them well so far.
Well, they just have so much talent on that side of the ball, and I think you get in a division game, records go completely out of the window. I mean, they know each other. This Chicago Bears team hasn't beaten this Lions team in a long time, and everybody on that Chicago Bears sideline was mentioning that when we talked to them yesterday.
4 straight wins for the Lions in this series. Stafford has time again, and probably shouldn't have thrown that football because it was nearly intercepted. Christian Jones, who takes in the defensive signals on the headset, was in position. Now 3rd and 5.
Yeah, Christian Jones' shoes got real big when Shea McClellan got hurt last week. Has to take in the signals. He's got to be the leader on this Chicago Bears defense. It's a nice play by him right there.
MCL for McClellan. He'll miss a couple of weeks. Now 3rd down 5.
Hey, right here. Sean, go out.
Need to get to the 37. Sideline throw. Catch. It's Calvin Johnson, and he stayed in bounds. Inside the 5 of the Bears. A 39-yard catch.
This is what I'm talking about with Calvin Johnson. One-on-one matchup. Tracy Porter has no chance against a guy this size, this speed. He's not the same guy. He's 30 years old, but he can still run, he can still jump, and he can still make these plays when given the opportunity. And got one to him, a big one to him right there.
Calvin turned 30 last month, and he's 6'5" and change, and Tracy Porter is barely 5'11". For the end zone, too much. It'll be 2nd and goal. Calvin Johnson in the neighborhood. Well, Johnson was mild-mannered this week when he was asked by Detroit media about the start and the team and the offense and big plays and where he figured in all this, as you said, for a guy averaging just 10 yards a catch. That wasn't right. He's had 2 big gainers today in the first half.
Well, to me, it looks like he went into Joe Lombardi's office and said, hey, quit throwing me underneath balls, get me outside on the edge, and give me some big plays.
Amir Abdullah. Just over a minute to go and a timeout here. It'll be 3rd and goal, and we have a player injured. Looks like it's Jarvis Jenkins for Chicago.
Well, there was a big collision right there in the middle of that play. We'll take a break here.
Jarvis Jenkins headed to the locker room moments ago under his own strength. And the Bears beat up on that defensive line. Remember Ego Ferguson on the injured list this week. Chicago, Fox, his team has been behind 71% of the time. That's second most in the NFL. San Francisco the most so far this season. Thus, the excitement about winning a couple of games as close as they were against Kansas City and Oakland. They're behind here. And with one timeout, the Lions have 2. Bears hoping to keep Detroit out of the end zone on 3rd and goal. And Calvin Johnson, who had a season-high 10 catches in week 2, looking for his first 100-yard game of the season. He's got 90 on 3 catches in this game. Stafford, end zone. The ball is juggled, and the Bears come up with it. An interception by Jonathan Anderson. Looked like a touchdown, but not held onto by Tate. And it's ruled a pick for Chicago. Tate thinks otherwise. There's Anderson. This will be reviewed automatically because it's a turnover. The rookie from TCU, just brought up from the active roster.
We see it right here, Golden Tate against Kyle Fuller, and no, it's not a touchdown. I know Golden Tate is saying that he had possession of it, but because he was being contacted by the DB before he went to the ground, he has to maintain possession to the ground, and he did not do it there.
Yeah, don't tell the Lions and Calvin Johnson about that rule.
Right.
The league is still trying to determine the exact verbiage for what's a catch and not a catch.
I mean, really, that's just a great play by Kyle Fuller. I mean, he was all over that route.
The previous play will be reviewed.
He was all over that route, and he's thanks, Walt. But he stuck with it. Could have easily let that go, but watch him fight on this ball all the way to the end of the play, and right there, I'd say that's a touchdown, right? Golden Tate's ball in his hands.
Is the other foot down?
And the other, well, it's not going to matter. He still has to control the ball all the way to the ground because of this new rule, and then he pulls it out, and obviously Anderson right there to catch the tip. I think this is going to stay as an interception.
And Anderson followed the bouncing ball with a Bears takeaway. Let's bring in our Fox Rules analyst. He set the standard, Mike Pereira. And Mike, as you review this, what are they looking for on the official review?
Well, I think Rhonda is absolutely right. What they're looking at is the process of the catch here. Did he clearly become a runner? Because breaking the plane does not apply until you become a runner. And what you're going to get is here in slow motion, it looks like it might be, but I'll tell you, the ball gets stripped out very quickly. And so to me, he does not become the runner, not able to ward off contact. So to me, since it's ruled incomplete, or it's actually ruled not a catch at that point, then it becomes basically an interception by Chicago and a touchback.
And Mike, a question, did Anderson control the ball all the way to the ground for the interception? Is that something they're also reviewing through the process?
And they would, and they got to look to see, because he's under the same guidelines there, because he is clearly going to the ground. So he has to maintain control of the ball when he does hit the ground.
It's been a theme, Mike Pereira, and thank you very much. You can go back to the Lions and Bears in 2011. Oh my. This was not a catch.
Touchdown.
I know, Rhonda, you think it is.
Another touchdown.
Des Bryant changed the flow of the Packer playoff game with the Cowboys, and we were there when Devontae Freeman thought he had a touchdown.
Yes, all they've done, all they've created is more confusion about these type of plays.
Mike, I thought Mike Pereira just cleared that up.
Well, Mike cleared it up for us, but everybody else is confused.
After reviewing the play, the route on the field has changed. It is a touchdown.
Now I'm really confused.
Took 3 steps. Goes the play.
I think, Mike Pereira, the rule might need more clarification.
Well, maybe I need more clarification, that's for sure, because when we looked at this in real time, that ball comes out very, very quickly. And again, the whole notion, did he clearly become a runner? In slow motion, yes, but I'm inclined to look at it in real time, and that ball comes out very quickly.
Well, it changes everything because no interception. Even on the field, it was first ruled a touchdown, then an interception. So quickly the extra point. And, you know, the Lions maybe deserve a break after that batted ball thing.
You know what? I'm going to stop calling plays touchdowns or incompletions or whatever. I've been wrong like 5 times in a row this year.
What did Matthew Stafford say this week? Live in the moment.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're trying to do. His third touchdown pass at a 21-13 lead, but we all saw it on Monday night, and this may change the way the league reviews things because it was clearly a batted ball that could have changed the outcome for the Lions.
And luck goes their way on this play because I called it an incompletion or an interception, and the league jilts me again and comes back and rules it the other way.
When you were a player, did you try to figure this out as much now that you're up in the booth?
No, and when you're on the field, it doesn't matter. You're just playing and hoping for the best. But Golden Tate told us right after he caught it that it was a touchdown. So he must have a better understanding of the rule book than I do, because I for sure thought that was going to be an interception for Anderson.
Well, an impressive drive from Stafford and this Lion offense at 85 yards, nearly 4 minutes, capped off by the Tate grab. And the third touchdown toss of this game for Matthew Stafford. So now he has 9 touchdowns for the year to go with the 8 interceptions. And still no turnovers in this game. Cutler will have 1 timeout and 53 seconds to work with. Together, the NFL and the American Cancer Society encourage everybody to join the fight against breast cancer. Find out how you can help. Make a crucial catch. Go to NFL.com/pink. And nearly every item on the field today will be up for auction at NFL.com/auction. 100% of the proceeds benefiting the American Cancer Society. And nice to see fans getting into the theme with players who are wearing pink. Well, an 8-point Lions lead. The batted ball changes the direction for Chicago. Forte back in. Cutler to throw. Waiting for blockers getting up across the 27-yard line.
We know what this Chicago offense is.
Cameron Merritt, excuse me, his first catch of the game, and a Lion player is down on the field. Jason Jones, who came in with a knee problem, is hurting. And Detroit will have to take a timeout. 1 timeout for each team remaining.
How much more impressive is this Lions offense today than weeks past to you, Chris? To me, it's Matthew Stafford looks way more comfortable. They're taking chances down the field, which he has done so well his entire career. It surprised me they haven't got to it more.
Well, this looks like the Lions team that went to the playoffs last year, which I don't want to bring this up for Lion fans, but they caught a bad break on the flag pickup in the playoff game against Dallas, which could have changed the direction back then.
For
but
sure.
Certainly offensively, this is as well as we've seen them play.
Well, defensively too. You know, they've allowed a couple of big plays to get down into the scoring area, but a defense that was 29th in red zone came up with two stops. And they've given up the 2nd most touchdowns in the league in the red zone. So give some credit to that side of the ball as well, Chris.
On 2nd down 3, 40 seconds for Cutler with a timeout. Under pressure. And eventually goes down. He was running all the way. Once he got the snap, Josh Wilson ran him down from his corner spot, nickel spot, and the clock continues to run on 3rd and 3.
Well, I don't think they're going to be in any hurry to get a play going here.
Now, if you're the Lions, do you want to call a timeout, force them into something?
You could.
Maybe try to get a field goal out of this?
You would think, but now it looks like they're both just going to concede to the half.
Well, the Bears and John Fox will get the ball to start the second half. Remember, they deferred after the opening coin toss. But an impressive first half from the Lions. And the bounce of the ball going their way with a 21-13 advantage over their NFC North rival Chicago Bears. 3 touchdown passes for Stafford, 10 out of 14 in the game. Jay Cutler, 13 out of 18. And the winless Lions hoping to get their first victory of this season. Bears trying to get to 3-3. What do you expect to see from the Chicago offense when we start the second half?
Well, Chicago's been in this situation game after game. Jay Cutler has been really good in the second half of football games. You mentioned how many percentage of the games they've been behind. They have the weapons. They have Matt Forte, Alshon Jeffrey, and Eddie Royal back, so I expect some explosiveness and get this game back to an even or a closer score here to start the second half.
And if you're a fan of the Lions, you hope the running game clicks because now you have a lead, so you want to wear that clock down and keep it away from Chicago.
You know, you got 21 points on the board, but they were here before. They were like this in San Diego, and they were able to keep a lead. They need to shorten this game as best they can.
Lions with the 21-13 lead over the Bears at the half, and Chicago gets the football in the third quarter. Let's head to the Visa halftime report. Lions with the lead, getting ready to kick off to the Bears here in Ford Field. Today's excitement is brought to you by Nissan. Matthew Stafford to Lance Moore for a touchdown, to Tim Wright for a touchdown, and a controversial bouncing ball that Golden Tate held on to for a touchdown after further review, holding off the Bears by that 21-13 score. An exciting first half. Lions, as you said, Ronde, not playing like a winless team. You hear about it all week. Now they have the lead, maybe their best half of football they've played completely this year. Can they hold up for the win?
You know what? I think this team has put themselves in a position to, yes, win this game at home, and they need to. What I really like about this Lions team is the emergence or re-emergence of Calvin Johnson as a deep threat. Matthew Stafford looks so much more comfortable in the pocket than I've seen him on film, and they need to keep that going the rest of this game.
The offense for Chicago, they've moved the football, just settled for field goals in a couple of cases rather than the touchdown.
And I think as important to note is that Matt Forte has only touched the ball 9 times. He's only got 7 rushes, twice out of the backfield. See if they can get him a little bit more involved, as he is their best player.
And has caught a couple of passes as well. Jay Cutler 13 out of 18, 171 yards. Stafford 10 out of 14. No turnovers in the game. Thought we had one right before the half, but for a change, it appears the ball bouncing right for the Lions.
How crazy was that play to end the half? Obviously fortuitous for the Detroit Lions, but I got to tell you, they've been driving the ball up and down the field on offense. It's almost like they deserved that touchdown, but just how well this offense has played. You said they've had some unlucky breaks so far this season.
Forte in the backfield for Cutler from the 20. He gets the carry. It'll bring up second down at about 8. Let's check in with Jennifer Hale down on the field.
Well, Chris, I had a chance to speak with Coach Jim Caldwell, and he tells me he's very pleased with how Matt Stafford has responded both mentally and physically this game. Now, one difference for him, quarterbacks coach Jim Bob Cooter is down on the field with him this game. Meanwhile, offensive coordinator Joe Lombardi is up in the box, and Caldwell says he thinks that may be facilitating better communication, Chris.
But the story now is Stafford watching the Bears and Cutler as he gives to Forte, who's knocked down right away. A big defensive play from Josh Bynes, who has been all over the field today.
He has. We mentioned him earlier in the game, and here he is again with another splash play in the backfield. You know, big shoes to fill. We talked about it with DeAndre Levy having surgery on his hip this week. He will be out for an extended period of time, but this guy's really stepped up today, and they're going to need him more as this game goes on.
After a loss of 1, facing 3rd and 9. Alshon Jeffrey with 4 catches in the game, the leader for the Bears in that department. Pressure coming. Cutler flips. Martellus Bennett with a first down catch up near the 39. A good on-the-move toss from Cutler.
Yeah, and this was a courageous throw here by Jay Cutler, too. He knew that he was getting ready to get drilled as he let go of this football and made a pretty on-target delivery with Ziggy Ansah bearing down on him.
Bennett with his 3rd catch of the game came in as the leading receiver for this Bears team. Remember, Jeffrey and Royal injured throughout the first 5 games for Chicago. Jeremy Langford, the only touchdown for Chicago on a short run. After after a gain of 19. Catch made. Marquise Wilson. Ball comes out at the end, but the official ruling him down. And Wilson, one of those guys who helped keep the receivers intact when Jeffrey and Royal were out.
He really did. And as this Chicago offense today, a lot of these little bubble screens, little breather type plays that they describe them as, just getting the ball out of Jay Cutler's hand quick. As a defender, it's so hard to get in and defend these things. You know he's going to have a couple of blockers in front of him. They picked up some big yardage today doing it.
We're good.
Second down 3 for Jeffrey. Alshon Jeffrey couldn't hold on the sideline. Darius Slay running with him. Looked like the ball was well delivered by Cutler.
That was a perfect delivery, wasn't it? Over the outside shoulder of the receiver. Darius Slay had his back to the play. This could have been a spectacular catch, but just off the tips of his hands. And Darius Slay's been in this position a lot for the Detroit Lions. They expect him to be their main cover guy. He's got great skill. His technique gets a little spotty for me at times. He needs to come up covering these big receivers for Chicago today. It comes up big.
Bears went big on second down. Now it's 3rd and 3. Cutler again on the move. Heaving it. And Wilson. What a catch, Mr. Wilson inside the 10.
The Detroit Lions, if you're a secondary coach in Detroit, you're just frustrated by these type of plays. Good position, doesn't panic, but he doesn't get a chance to turn around and make a play on this ball. And Jay Cutler's finding success throwing the ball down the field, just giving these jump balls to his receivers, these 50-50 balls. That's the 3rd one we've seen so far today.
Wilson came in with 12 catches in his last 2 games and a big gainer there, 46 yards. Matt Forte shoved back by the Lions.
And again, we get a big play by Chicago's offense. This Detroit defense has stood up twice after a big play. See if they can do it again here and force Chicago with a field goal. There would be I think a positive for this defense, even though they continue to give up these big plays in the passing game.
And worth mentioning, Rondé, that all 6 of the receivers up active today. Antone Smith inactive for this Bears team as Forte is in the backfield. Got 2nd and goal for Jeffrey in the end zone, and it's intercepted. Rashean Mathis, who just got burned on the Wilson play moments ago, with an interception.
Just giving Rashean Mathis some flack for being in good position and not making a play on a ball, but this is a heck of a play by Rashean Mathis. Jay Cutler dialed up his target, the one he wanted, Alshon Jeffrey. And look at that, being able to turn toward a receiver, fall back inside, get your hands on it, and make a pick. What a great play.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Burger King. Kick off fall with a new Oreo Pumpkin Spice Shake. By Visa Checkout, the easier way to pay online. Sign up now. And by AT&T. DirecTV and AT&T are now one, bringing television.
Amir Abdullah following the interception with a run to the 29 for the Lions. Mathis, his 32nd career interception, his first of this season. 4 trips for the Bears into the red zone and only 1 touchdown.
They've been great. Josh Wilson with the break up there. To Whitehead on this, and then this last one, this interception by Rashean Mathis. Like I said this earlier, they were 29th in the league in red zone stops, giving up the 2nd most TDs in the league behind Cleveland. And Terrell Austin has got to be ecstatic with the way his defense has stepped up when they've gotten down in that scoring area.
13th carry of the game for Abdullah. Fumbles the football. And back on it, all the way back to the 20-yard line. Sam Acho knocked the ball out, and that was the reason he was benched last week. And Jim Caldwell said he had to earn his way back into carrying the football.
Yeah, and here we go again with Amir Abdullah and his fumbles.
Hurting. His hand, arm.
Well, he's hurting because he dropped another football. I know he's trying to get extra yardage, but ball security has to be paramount. I mean, getting hand on the football. There was no violence to that strip. Just dropped it.
And Zenner was injured in the first half. Bell inactive, so Theo Riddick, the only other back with the fullback Michael Burton, as Abdullah is on the sideline in pain. A loss of 9 after a strong run when they had 2nd and 1. Now it's 3rd and 10. And Stafford has to get rid of it.
No, Amir Abdullah is a young player, but he's got to solve these problems. Fumbling is epidemic. When it becomes an issue, and it's obviously an issue for him early in his career, it is so hard to shake it. Every time you touch the ball, it feels like you're going to drop it somehow or another. And I know he looks like he's hurt maybe when he got landed on after recovering that fumble. But for this Detroit Lions team going to be successful with him as a runner, he's going to have to learn to take better care of the football.
Sam Martin, Mark Mariani, and gets up across the 32-yard line. Travis Lewis, Lions special teams, brings him down. Bears are back on offense after forcing the Lions to punt it away. The Bears have not punted 4 full possessions. All went to 1st and goal, but only 1 touchdown. Back on offense here, 32. Matt Forte, tough yards, and the Lions good against the run. Stop short of the 35. Let's check in with Jennifer.
Well, Chris, good news for the Chicago defense. Jarvis Jenkins has rejoined them here on the sideline and will return to action in the coming plays. He spent almost the entire half undergoing a concussion protocol, but thankfully he has been cleared, Chris.
On 2nd and 8. Cutler again on the move. That's how he's had to throw, and gets Marquise Wilson. Ball comes out at the end, incomplete.
Oh, this was set up to be a huge play. Darius Slay was completely lost in coverage here, and Marquise was about to run free if this ball would have been delivered just a little bit better.
Seems like every play, Cutler is having a throw on the run.
Oh, he actually should have caught that ball. It hit him. That ball was better delivered than I thought. But yes, Jay Cutler has been under duress a lot today. This Lions defensive line, when they pin their ears back, they work together as good as anybody in the league. Especially this guy right here, Ziggy Ansah.
He's got 5 sacks on 3rd and 8. Cutler felt the pressure. Can he get the first down? Cutler with some nifty moves, good enough to keep the ball for Chicago at a fresh set of downs.
Again, showing some athleticism. You know, he had that hamstring injury, and he only missed a week. John Fox was like, yeah, they told us this was going to be a 4 to 6 week injury, and Jay Cutler missed 1 week, talked about doing some ARP stimulation and stuff, and he's back and he's playing well.
Matt Forte with the carry. And ARP, a form of electric stimulation, which he said was a miracle working for that hamstring. I guess Bear fans were wondering, why didn't Alshon Jeffrey use that? But everybody handles injuries different.
He didn't want to share his spoils, right?
I mean, Jay was just, living by that. Said he couldn't have come back as quickly as he did. And it meant a lot, John Fox said, to the guys in the locker room, that he toughed it out and was able to come back, has led him to 2 last-second victories. Going to have to come from behind here. Pass is complete to Forte. Someone made sure he didn't get the first for the moment.
Well, this offense could afford to stay patient here, but they need to pick up a first down, get a drive going here early in this 3rd quarter. Now, the feeling that I get right now is that Detroit has them exactly where they want to. Though I could say the same Kansas City had them where they wanted to last year.
And so I mean, last few weeks ago, and the Raiders thought they had the same thing. It's Eddie Royal. Here comes a flag. He's got the first down, but the Lions are applauding as if there was an illegal block.
I think you're going to get a hold here on number 10, Marquise Wilson. I'm sorry, Alshon Jeffrey it's going to be on.
Holding, number 17, offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, third down.
We'll just see him right here, just grab a hold of the defender right in front of him. Ball comes out quick, and yeah, you see him just drag him to the ground. Looked like an offensive tackle right there, trying to cover up a defensive end. Clear hold, though, on Alshon.
Well, they haven't really gone easy on him coming back for this game from the first one since the opener. He's been active.
Yeah, and hasn't been on a pitch count. He's been out there front with the majority of the snaps today.
So now third down and 10. Cutler. Forte just missed him. He was open, and it's going to be fourth down.
Yeah, this was a nice little route by Matt Forte, and again, Jay Cutler's just off target on Matt Forte as he's running away from Josh Bynes. He's right here in the slot. He's going to go out. Josh Bynes looks back. He misses him. He's gone. This would have been a huge completion for Chicago had he been able to connect.
First punt of the game for Pat O'Donnell and the Bears. TJ Jones back to receive, standing at the Lion 15. The Lion defense doing its job again to protect the 8-point lead. And fumbled at the last moment, a muffed punt and a scramble for it. Like ants to the picnic.
A lot of bodies joining in on the pile here, but only two people at the bottom of that thing that had a chance to recover it. And this is going to be
Bears football.
Yep.
Looked like Josh Bellamy came up with it. He was right there. Scramble between two before everybody else got there.
You just can't let the ball get to your shoulder pads there if you're
TJ Jones.
TJ Jones. I mean, got underneath it, had the pocket formed with his arms, and when that ball hits your shoulder pads, it's not going to land softly.
A takeaway for John Fox's team. The turnovers now equal at 1 apiece. And in the red zone, in the 20, from the 19 of Detroit, the Bears have it with a chance to tie if they get the touchdown and decide to go for 2.
55. Knees.
Forte. Looks like a wildcat direct snap to Matt Forte. And there goes Matt Forte to the 10-yard line. Here comes a flag back at the 22.
Holding, number 75, offense. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
The call on Kyle Long, a creative play by Adam Gase.
Yeah, put an imposter at quarterback. They've done this a lot over the years. He told us they have a plethora, I guess is the right word, of plays that they can use with Matt Forte at quarterback. He's actually told us he's the emergency quarterback, but Kyle Long, see him right here, coming into your screen, just pulling down Tulloch. He called the holding on that play.
Penalties have hurt the Bears on some big gainers. They're back now to the 29 on 1st and 20. Cutler has time for Langford in the end zone and knocked away. Double coverage on Langford. Darius Slay and Glover Quinn were back there. Let's check in for a game break with Kurt Menefee.
Well, as we continue to try and figure out what's a touchdown and not, this is just a heck of a play by Marvin Jones. Up, gets the ball over into the end zone. Good for 7, 24-14, Cincy on top of the Bills. Chris, Rhonda?
Thank you, Kurt. Is this the year the Bengals win a playoff game?
I'll tell you what, that touchdown didn't look comfortable. The awkward landing.
On 2nd and 20, Cutler underneath to Bennett, who's breaking a few tackles and then gets down to the 20-yard line, just inside the 21 of Detroit. It'll bring up third down. Need to get inside the 10 for a first down. So it'll be 3rd and 12 for Chicago.
And this is another opportunity for this Detroit defense, Chris, to see if they can stand up. Giving up a couple of big plays, we talked about it, been able to stand up at the red zone. Now you get a sudden change opportunity because of the punt muff. And again, see if they can stand up in the red zone and force a field goal here for Chicago. Chicago got trips down at the bottom. Seen this formation a couple times. See if they run a slip screen or something of that sort here again.
Cutler for Bennett, who stumbled and fell, and the pass incomplete, and no flags on that play.
Yeah, instead they went on an isolation route with Martellus Bennett on Issa Kudos there. That was just, again, an overthrown ball by Jay Cutler.
And Kadu starting with James Ahedebo inactive today. Robbie Gould 2 for 2 today. Has not missed a field goal try this season. This will be from 38 yards. Patrick O'Donnell, the holder. And Robbie Gould nails it right down the middle to cut into the Lions' lead. That's the good news for Chicago. The bad news is they're having trouble getting it into the end zone. Just over 5 minutes remain here in the third quarter.
Game is sponsored by Chevrolet. Use hashtag #IDrive4 and we'll contribute $5 to fight breast cancer.
Martellus Bennett explaining what happened as he tripped on the Ford Field turf.
The turf monster got him.
And the pass Cutler threw could have been a big gainer. There's return specialist T.J. Jones muffed the punt, which allowed the field goal. Remember, Amir Abdullah, who's done some of the return work, left with an injury after recovering his own fumble. The Lions will take over on offense at the 20-yard line. Matthew Stafford with 3 touchdown passes today.
Amir Abdullah is here on the sideline with his helmet on, expecting to return to the game. Meanwhile, the Lions are going to have to cope the rest of this matchup without defensive end Jason Jones. He has a neck injury, and Zach Zenner-Chris is also out with a chest injury.
Theo Riddick, who missed practice with a groin injury, is in at running back for the moment. Lions by 5 with just over 5 to play in the third quarter.
Kill! 59! Waiting!
And Riddick with the hole stops short of the 30 up at the 29-yard line.
Second time or third time we've seen in this game Cornelius Lucas coming in as an eligible player. Talked about earlier in the show, he's right here in your screen. They don't have 2 of their tight ends for this game, so he's in here just putting his body on Lamar Houston and opens up a nice big gash there for Theo Riddick to get 9 yards.
Well, Jim Caldwell said, look, we got to average at least 4 yards a carry here, and they're averaging 4.8 today. It was much better before Abdullah lost the football and had to go back to recover.
And it's about commitment. They're committed today.
From the pocket, Cutler is on the move. Stafford completes to Lance Moore, and Lance Moore goes down the sideline. Stafford moving like Jay Cutler. He came out of the pocket. I'm sorry.
Stafford's having himself a heck of a day here, and so is Lance Moore. It's about seeing him emerge here, man-to-man coverage in the slot. He's working on McManus and just runs away from him. McManus just disappears out of your screen there, and he has tons of room over here. Pick up another huge gain for this Lions offense.
Moore, who signed with the Lions, he was with the Steelers last year, the longtime New Orleans Saint. A pickup of 42, and Stafford has hit the 200-yard passing mark. And Riddick has some room as the flag flies, and he's knocked down at the 30 of Chicago. Six penalties called on the Bears have been accepted, 2 on the Lions so far in this game.
Well, this is in the area of holding. I'm not sure what the discussion is. Both 2 flags came in. They're probably trying to determine. Actually, the number was
Holding, number 75, offense. 10-yard penalty, first down.
The call on right guard Larry Warford. He said, what, me?
Larry Walford's playing right guard. He's right here on your screen. I mean, I'm not sure where the hold was unless they said he was trying to grab that defender's leg. I actually thought that may have been on Laken Tomlinson, but
Yeah, you could see the rookie pointing to the official before pleading his case. Maybe he said it wasn't me, it was that guy. Anyway, they're back to the 39 of the Bears and 1st and 20. Stafford underneath. And Riddick doing what he does best, to catch and carry back down to the 23. Let's check in for a game break with Kurt Benefield.
Of course, in Pittsburgh, Michael Vick starting in place of the injured Ben Roethlisberger. Vick goes out with an injured hamstring, and so Landry Jones comes in. His second NFL pass, his first touchdown to Martavis Bryant. They lead Arizona 12-10 after a failed two-point conversion attempt. Chris?
Thank you, Kurt. A lot of drama with that Steeler team, and a lead over the Cardinals at the moment. After a gain of 16, it's now 2nd down 4.
Number 20! Number 20! Come kill! Come kill! Come 58! Waiting! Don't! Waiting! Listen!
And Riddick having to run the ball with the injuries in the backfield.
I came into this game thinking that Theo Riddick needed more touches. You know, when they've struggled on offense this year, they've used him in the slot. They've used him out of the backfield as a receiver. I'm wondering, why not just turn around and hand him the ball? He's got great elusiveness, great one-cut ability, two-cut ability, three-cut ability, really. He can make people miss in the open field. And with Amir Abdullah's fumbling problems re-emerging here earlier in the third quarter, Theo Riddick is getting the majority of the action here in the backfield.
And you saw the rushing numbers today improved by this Lions team. On 3rd and 3, pass is caught by Tate. Flag is down, and Golden Tate is in for the touchdown. Well, they're going to, let's see what the flag is.
They're going to call offensive pass interference here, Chris.
You could see the defender fall down right away, and the
Pass
flag.
interference, number 81, offense. 10-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
The call against Calvin Johnson.
This play comes up almost every single week because of these screens or picks or whatever. And to be honest with you, I don't see that.
Well,
he was not intentionally trying to block that receiver. He was just going out in his route. And I think they made a mistake on that one. And look at Jim Caldwell. He's like, you got to be kidding me. Got to be kidding me. And I tend to agree with him right there. That was a bad call.
Well, it takes points off the board and back to the 33. Penalties hurting the Lions on this drive.
Right here! Solid!
Stafford has room to run. Brought that short of the first down around the 21-yard line of the Bears.
Again, smart decision by Matthew Stafford there. He could have forced the ball down, but you know Chicago is going to be playing some sort of deep defense for that, and they gave him a lane. He took it, thought he had a chance to get it, but instead he gives his field goal kicker much closer field goal attempt.
And Matt Prater, the Lions, last in the NFL with only 3 field goal attempts. Prater has hit all 3. This will be a 39-yard try to give the Lions that 8-point lead back. And he's 4 for 4 this year. And Detroit responds with 3. We welcome you back with 1:05 to play in the third quarter. Chicago having to play catch-up much of this game, and Riddick, the workhorse in that last drive for the Lions. Mark Mariani back to receive if he has the opportunity, as Sam Martin is ready to kick off for the Lions. Neil down at 20-yard line. Cutler and the Bears on offense. Thursday night on Bones, Rondé Barber with a special appearance, playing a former football player who's caught up in a fantasy football feud.
Probably about some jackpot that he just won. Something about having the highest scoring fantasy player at every position. You know, I can handle the trash talk, but when you threaten my wife and kids, it's taking it to a whole nother level.
You made up?
Yeah. I mean, football's a business.
That's Thursday night, 8 Eastern on Fox. Bones.
Why are you laughing?
That's great acting.
Why are you laughing?
That's terrific. You're not really an actor. You don't even really play one on TV.
No,
you play
I
an announcer.
I don't, but I am playing
TV.
a football player, so it wasn't that much of a stretch for me.
But you had to
liked
act-
that shirt, though, didn't you?
Yes, I did. You had to act angry,
I
which
did.
that's the way you play. Way to channel that energy from the field to Hollywood. Again, that's Bones Thursday. Also, by the way, Betty White will guest star.
Neutral zone infraction, number 94, defense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Bet you'd never hear Walt Coleman, Betty White, and Rondé
Yes,
Barber.
No way, not in the same
same
sentence. No chance. I'll take second fiddle to Betty White. Love her.
We look forward to catching that on Bones. Jim Caldwell's still upset about the penalty that you agreed with him on that pushed the Lions back, and they had to settle for 3. Jeremy Langford in the running back for the Bears.
5-7.
Cutler's pass. Bennett gets the first down up across the 30.
And for a big guy, that was a nice stop and go there, putting the brakes on, letting that defender fly by and getting that first down. Does a really good job with his body control. For a guy that's 6'6" and, you know, lumbering at times, it's a great receiver.
Has at least 4 catches in every game this year and is the leading receiver in this game as Jeremy Langford carries. Third quarter winding down. Being behind, nothing new to John Fox and the Chicago team after going 0 for 3 in September, winning a couple of games in October against KC and then the Raiders. Cutler will let the clock run out, and at the end of 3 here at Ford Field, the Lions lead the Bears. You're watching the NFL on Fox. The Lions in search of their first win of the season with an 8-point lead. Bears have trailed in every game this year. They've come back to win the last 2. Jeremy Langford the back. And Langford, who has the touchdown on the ground for Chicago in this game, gets up to the 39-yard line.
Seen a lot more Langford in this game. Matt Forte's getting some carries off. I think it's good for this offense. This guy can't stand up for the entire year with the amount of reps that he has gotten so far in the season. He came in to this week leading the league in touches and in rushing yardage, and they're giving him a little bit of a break here, but I promise you, later in this fourth quarter, Matt Forte is going to be the focus of this offense again.
Had the winning touchdown catch in the closing seconds last week for the Bears. On 3rd and 3, Cutler's pass is dropped. Martellus Bennett, who had some drop problems last week, with a big one there. Now it's 4th down as Cutler was knocked to the ground. Ziggy Ansah made Cutler pay.
Yeah, the pressure on Cutler continued to get to him, but Ziggy Ansah, that guy's a monster, man. Hey, he's a tough dude to block for a guy that's only had about 4 years of football under his belt. He didn't play till his sophomore year in college. He is developing at a fast rate. He's going to be one of the premier rushers in the league at some point.
Ball is down. Now they're pointing as if the Bears have it. Did it hit a Lion when it bounced? You could see T.J. Jones waving everybody away, but when it kicked towards the middle part of the field, it may have hit a member of the Lions, and the Bears were on it. Chris Prozinski came up with the football for Chicago.
The ball touched the receiving team on the foot, then recovered by the kicking team. First down, Chicago.
It hit the leg of Corey Fuller here as he's going to the ground. Right there, touched by a Lion, recovered by a Bear.
Well, he was clearly pushed into it, and I don't think that matters. But another turnover or special teams for the Detroit Lions. And Joe Marciano, their special teams coach, has got to be frustrated, infuriated right now.
Lions had 4 penalties on special teams last week. Here they have 2 muff punts, 2 punts that are fumbles that are lost. And Chicago has great field position.
The previous play will be reviewed.
And all turnovers to be confirmed. But the ruling on the field is recovery Chicago. Here's another look, and the officials will review it upstairs.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Lowe's. Hurry in this week for great fall savings. By Charles Schwab, own your tomorrow. And by Microsoft Surface, the official tablet of the NFL.
The officials reviewed the recovery.
The ruling on the field stands. First down, Chicago.
And as Mike Pereira, our rules analyst, said, Rondé, the only thing the officials can review is whether the ball is touched, not whether the player was pushed or blocked into the ball.
Yeah, and this is not Corey Fuller's fault. You see him engaged with number 30 there, and he doesn't even see the getaway signal from TJ. And as he's going to the ground, the ball just continues to bounce around and hit him in the foot. Good aware play by Chicago to get that turnover.
Matt Forte with the carry. Matt Forte to the 10-yard line. It'll be first and goal Chicago, and that giveaway is the 17th turnover by the Lions, the most of any team in the NFL.
It is, and that's part of the reason why a pretty decent football team, a team that won 11 games last year, has yet to get on the winning side so far this season.
Pass is caught by Eddie Royal. Slips a tackle. It's down to the 2. Fourth catch of the game for Eddie Royal. I'm sorry, Ron.
And Eddie Royal keeps getting, my apologies. He keeps getting into these situations, these little screens, these little breather plays. Again, just quick completion, easy completion for the quarterback, and just letting your natural talent, which he has a ton of, get him down the field.
Looks like he's hurting. The ankle injury kept him out against Kansas City.
I don't think that's an ankle.
Reunited with Cutler from their days in Denver. Cutler overthrown. Zach Miller. There's a flag in the end zone.
Well, this is going to be pass interference on the offense. This was a pick play. I think at least that's what we're going to say. It'd be interesting to see if it's within a yard of the line of scrimmage, though.
But Devin Taylor may have tipped the ball.
Pass interference, number 17, offense. 10-yard penalty, still second down.
The call against Alshon Jeffrey and another penalty.
When you got a yard, and when he takes that second step, he's beyond
moving that
the
arm
yard.
Back around Mathis. There's the tip by Taylor.
Second pass interference on Alshon Jeffrey, and the semantics of that play are easy. Just you only have a yard. If you can't get to that yard, or if the defender you're trying to pick is past that yard, just let him get over the top naturally. Shot themselves in the foot again.
Cutler firing high for Jeffrey. He comes down with a touchdown, Bears.
He made up for it there. What a throw and what a catch.
And what a comeback to this game for Alshon Jeffrey.
He skied through 3 defenders here to make an outstanding catch. Right in the middle of your screen there. Alshon Jeffrey on top of the 10-yard line. 3 defenders really as the safety comes over. Man, hamstring injury, nothing. Some serious explosion there to go up and get that ball.
Taking advantage of the 6'3" height. His first touchdown catch of the season. And time for the extra point. Instead of going for 2 in the tie, they're just going to try and kick the extra point with Robbie Gould. With 12.5 minutes to go. It's a 1-point game. Jake Cutler moves closer to Bears quarterbacking history. 2-year-old Jake Cutler in his 10th season, 7th with the Bears, and 1 touchdown pass away from tying Sid Luckman for the all-time touchdown record in Bears history. And Cutler closing in on 20,000 career passing yards. The flip to Alshon Jeffrey. The 2 muffed punts have given the Bears 10 points, and kicking off in a 1-point game. Down in the end zone, Lion offense comes out to the 20. Well, if you haven't seen Rosewood, you're missing one of the most talked about new shows on television. Morris Chestnut stars as the eternally optimistic genius crime solver. Don't miss an all-new Rosewood before Empire, Wednesday, 8 Eastern, 7 Central on Fox.
Bears fans in the stands.
And Cutler fans.
Yeah.
Eddie Royal has gone to the locker room. They're checking on an injury there. Theo Riddick continues in the backfield with the injuries to Lion running backs. Stafford to throw, and now he's running, pointing, and getting out of bounds.
Still a lot of time left in this game, Chris, but Detroit, in my estimation, right now needs a drive. Chicago comes back down, makes this a 1-point game after another special teams error. And Matt Stafford, who's been great today, needs to get these chains moving and try to shorten this game a little bit. Keep the clock running for him.
You were comfortable with the Bears going for the extra point and not 2?
I was a little skeptical about it, just like you were, Chris. It almost makes sense. And we talked to a lot of coaches about that 2-point conversion. I think they're still trying to figure out on their new card, I guess, when to call it.
Pass is caught by Golden Tate, but he's thrown down by Sam Acho right away. They'll lose yardage, and it's 3rd down.
He lost a bunch of yardage. That was a really good play by Sam Acho, playing that outside linebacker position in this 3-4 defense. You mentioned it at the beginning of the broadcast, Chris. This is the first time ever that a Bears defensive unit has lined up in a 4-3. Or 3-4, I'm sorry, and Sam Acho is taking that place of Jared Allen when he went to Carolina, and he's done a great job.
And Vic Fangio, the defensive coordinator, had great success wherever he's been, more recently San Francisco, designing the defense under John Fox. On 3rd and 12. Stafford has time, he flips it, and it's picked off! Jonathan Anderson, who lost an interception on the replay with Golden Tate's touchdown, grabbed that out of the air.
Well, Matthew Stafford he can't do this. I mean, going out of your way to make a pretty good play here, extending this, and just flip the bad ball to Theo Riddick. It wouldn't have got the first down anyways. You know, sometimes taking a sack is the right decision, or being safe with the football. That is the bad Matt Stafford, and it rears its head again.
And Anderson eventually does get his interception, so that's 3 turnovers by the Lions, 18 total for the year. Again, most in the NFL.
5-7 line.
Bears take over at the 24 of Detroit. Pass to Alshon Jeffrey, who runs into traffic after getting out inside the 16-yard line of the Lions.
Jay Cutler continues to talk about, in every interview you hear, when you talk to him at production meetings, he talks about being protected by his coordinator. And this is it right here, these little throws.
Matt Forte inside the 10. It'll be 1st and goal. And yes, Jay Cutler said of Adam Gase, we mentioned the coaching staff, but he said he talks to you during the game, and it's an enjoyable experience working with the offensive coordinator. And there is the 37-year-old who was once with the Lions as an assistant, went to school at Michigan State. He's from the state of Michigan. Cutler's pass off the hands of Forte. It'll be 2nd and goal.
Well, they have so many weapons on this offense, starting with Matt Forte, but you throw in an Alshon Jeffrey and a Eddie Royal, the development of Marquise Wilson, obviously Martellus Bennett, who's the leading receiver, and I mean, it's got to be exciting to be a quarterback in this offense. There's just so many options to get the ball to, and Adam Gase, I think, has done a real good job designing plays for all of them. And Martellus Bennett is up here and looks like he's in single coverage again on the outside. See if they go to him here.
And Forte can't shake loose. Stephen Tulloch in the middle. It'll bring up 3rd down and goal.
This Lions team has dealt pretty well with adversity, especially this defense. The big plays we talked about, getting down the red zone, getting stops. 2 turnovers on special teams, and now a turnover by Matthew Stafford gets them in a backed up situation to their goal line again. They're going to need a stop here.
Jay Cutler on 3rd and goal for Jeffrey. Here's a flag. Now we've had 2 calls against Jeffrey today. It was a touchdown catch. Let's see which way this one goes. That's Josh Bynes pleading his case for the Lions.
Holding, number 57, defense. Half the distance to the goal, automatic 1st down.
Alshon Jeffrey's right here, and he's going to motion in here so we can get a one-on-one matchup with this player right there, Josh Bynes. You see there some kind of in-and-out coverage, and you do not want this matchup if you're Detroit. Big Alshon Jeffrey on a linebacker. That's all he could do, really, to stop him from getting that delivery is to hold him. He gets a 1st and goal for at the 4-yard line for Chicago.
4 new downs for the Bears. Matt Forte and a swarm of Lions led by Caduce from the secondary. Clock runs. It'll be under 9 minutes when they snap the ball next.
We've seen earlier in the game that Adam Gase is really looking to run the ball in the red zone. They've had 6 possessions. You saw the graphic right there. Only 2 of them have been touchdowns. So you give credit to these Detroit Lions. Stop the run first. Make Jay Cutler try to throw it over your heads to the end zone. See what we got here.
Hey, 5-7! 5-7! 180!
Matt Forte cannot run away, and it's going to be 3rd and goal.
Yeah, good job again by that defensive line front. 5 or 6 guys there on that tackle on that stretch run play. And usually when you get Matt Forte in those situations, those run to the sideline, he's really good at finding a lane and cutting back. But again, credit up front to this Detroit Lions defense, stuffing that run and giving them a 3rd down opportunity.
That's 20 touches. As Terrell Austin's defense has done the job against Forte. 17 rushes from the 2.
Here's that bunch look again down at the bottom of your screen. 3 bodies. See if they run some kind of combination route or ISO up top.
Matt Forte has it and in for the Chicago touchdown.
He distracted me like he distracted Detroit. Put those guys down at the bottom, draw some attention there with the back end defenders, and turn around and hand it off to Matt Forte, and Adam Gase gets what he wants, a rushing touchdown in the end zone.
And it's the 2nd rushing touchdown this season for Forte, and the Bears looks like they're going to go for 2 with a 5-point lead at the moment. And obviously if they convert, it would be a 7-point advantage. Remember the new rule this year, Rondé, if you are the defense and you get a fumble or an interception, you can run it the other way and score 2 points.
Haven't had one yet this year. I want to see it.
Alshon Jeffrey at the bottom of your screen. Forte in the slot. Bears are 0 for 2 on 2-point conversion tries this season. Cutler throws, catch made, reaching across, and yes, Forte for the conversion and a 7-point Bears lead.
Much better play by Alshon Jeffrey on the pick. Didn't go for the DB, and here's the TD to get them in the lead.
Forte and the Bears on their way.
This game is sponsored by T-Mobile. Switch to the Data Strong network.
Matt Forte has had to sweat out every yard, but he and Jay Cutler have pushed the Bears in the lead here in the fourth quarter. 31-24, Robbie Gould kicking off. TJ Jones downing at 20-yard line. Here come the Lions on offense. Well, Rondé, John Fox told us when he took over in Chicago, one of the first things he told the team was, Jay Cutler, everybody acts as if one guy went 5-11 last year. Let's support him. Let's give him enough around him so he can lead this team. He's doing that today.
Well, he's been doing it for the past couple of games. Actually, I think he's been doing it all year. It's just started to manifest itself in these last couple of games. And John Fox is exactly right. I mean, it is a team effort, and everybody in Chicago, even the conversation nationally was how bad Jay Cutler was. But so far, under John Fox and Adam Gase, he has turned into a quarterback that this team can rely on.
And Stafford lead the comeback. A little trickery as TJ Jones winds up with the football, and the Bears are on him and a lose yardage. Let's go back to Cutler for just a moment, because I asked him about, is this the new Jay Cutler? You're happy, you're satisfied. He said, well, you grow a little, you're a little more mature, but it really has to do with, I like the guys I'm playing with, I like the coaching staff I'm working with. And even when they were 0-3, he was steady at the position and now has a chance to lead them to their third straight win. Here comes Eddie Royal jogging back out onto the field for the Bears.
Yeah, watch it. Come on. Go.
Stafford on second down, a little bit behind the receiver. He was trying to get to Tim Wright, who has a touchdown catch. Well, Stafford with 3 touchdowns in the game, but that last turnover hurt big time because it allowed the Bears to get into the end zone.
Yeah, lots of self-inflicted wounds with this Lions team today. And come out, you're down now for the first time in the game. First down play, trick play that's a reverse that loses 3 yards. Second down incompletion. Now you're 3rd and 13. 7 minutes left in the game. And your quarterback, who hasn't had much success in the fourth quarter, it's got to be a little rattled right here. Let's see if he can bounce back, get a completion for a first down.
Stafford's throw right on target. And Golden Tate was out of bounds. Could not keep his feet in. I think they want to take another look at this.
Well, this one's going to be close on the sideline. Golden Tate is open. Catch is definitely secure. Whether he gets that right foot down, it doesn't look like it there. I saw his ground up tires is what's in the turf here. You'd see it if it spit up. It's hard to say.
He had a touchdown that was bounced around. And Caldwell is 3 out of 3 in challenges this year.
Well, he should definitely challenge this. I'm not sure. I think Walt said completed catch, right?
Well, let's see what
yeah, he said completed catch.
Now you might get a challenge on the other side from John Fox. He's got the challenge flag in his hand. Let's see if he throws it. There's one.
Watch his right foot.
Play clock for 10 seconds, please. 10 seconds.
It's hard to see his right foot from that picture. He should be able to catch it right here, and yeah, that's a completion.
So the ground up rubber flying in the air helps.
Yeah, good work by the officials getting that call right.
And I want to reset the clock. Give them the extra time. Stafford's throw. Tim Wright stays inbound. Stafford, 17 career game-winning drives. Obviously, none in the first 5 games. And the big throws early to Calvin Johnson helped open things up for this offense.
Look at that stat right there. First 5 games, they were anemic throwing the football, at least in terms of yards per catch. Those big plays to Calvin Johnson early in the game. But we haven't mentioned his name, Chris, here much in the second half. Get this guy involved. We know how dominant he was early. So we can get him going here when it matters most.
Only 3 catches for Calvin Johnson, but 90 yards. Corey Fuller is in the game. Handoff Riddick, trying to find room and nowhere to go. We have not seen Ameer Abdullah, some with his helmet on, but he lost the fumble and then he was holding his arm. Not sure if it's injury or protecting the football, the reason he's not back in the game.
I think he's lost the confidence of his head coach is what's happened, and you don't blame him. He's a young kid, and they expect a lot out of him. I mean, he is an exciting player, about the most elusive guy I've seen in a long time. But the 3 fumbles in the past 2 weeks are just unacceptable. And when it matters much, it's crunch time. You do not want to put a player who's having a crisis of confidence with the ball in his hand on the field, and that's why Theo Riddick is getting all these touches.
On 3rd down and 2, time for Stafford. And he has to get rid of it. Just over 5 minutes to play. The punting unit headed out for the Lions.
Third and short situation again. We had a couple earlier in the game. They weren't able to convert on 3rd. They passed the ball.
Well, in fairness, Zach Zenner or Ameer Abdullah would be the guy you'd give it to. One is injured, one's hurting after losing the football. It's a fake. It's Kudus to the 30.
At this point in the game, there's 5 minutes left. If you're on Chicago's sideline, you got to think, yes, we did a great job getting off the football field. They're going to punt. They're going to try to play defense. But how about the guts of Jim Caldwell?
And Joe Marciano, the special teams coach. Isa Abdul Kudus, who is playing in the secondary because of the injury to James Ahedebo, just took the snap and ran 30 yards all the way to the Chicago 32.
You're a losing football team. Why not do this? I thought this was a great call.
Stafford with time and throws low and gets rid of it. Riddick was in the area. What a gutsy call, because the fake punt, if it doesn't work, the Bears are right back knocking on the door, and it's only a 7-point game.
Well, I think half the people in the stadium were about to get up and walk out with 5 minutes left as they're punting. They don't want to see Jay Cutler and this offense just milk the clock. It's a great call.
You just don't want to give up on the Lions. They've battled close against the
every week except for
Seahawks and the Broncos. They had the lead on the Chargers. Last week was the blowout loss that had everybody shaking their head.
Lucky, stay! Stay!
All day for Stafford. Can he find anybody? Catch made by Golden Tate going to the turf. Let's get a game break. Check in again with Kurt Menefee. Kurt?
Well, Peyton Manning had thrown 2 interceptions and no touchdowns until this one. Emmanuel Sanders, 75-yard score. That came right after Manning had thrown a pick 6. But it puts the Broncos back on top in Cleveland by a field goal, less than 5 minutes to go in regulation. Chris, Rondé, and Jen.
All right, thank you. 3rd and 4 for the Lions. Under 4 minutes clock running. A fake punt. A 30-yard run set him up. Golden Tate wrapped up. Here comes a flag. Kyle Fuller was locked in his arms at the 20.
Pass interference, number 23, defense. Ball we placed in the spot of foul. First down.
Well, Golden Tate was one of the guys not explicitly pointed out by Jim Caldwell as one of the ones that didn't have the energy, but I talked to him before the game, and he said, I need to keep it. I need to get my energy back up. He knew he was the one that they were talking about because he is such an exciting player on this offense. They need to get him going. He's coming alive here in this 4th quarter when they need him most.
5 catches for Tate. He's the one who took exception to the fans and then said, I have a whole new perspective on things, reconsidering. Riddick the carry. And some good work to get down to the 13-yard line of Chicago. 3.5 minutes to play. Riddick came in leading all running backs in receptions, but he's had to carry the ground on the load, carrying the load on the ground as well as in the air. Caught 2 passes and has run quite a bit in the second half. After a 6-yard pickup, here come the substitutions on the Bears defense.
Golden Tate's in the slot for you right here. Looks like they're in some sort of zone defense. He loves to work in these zones. See if he can get open here.
Stafford, incomplete for Tate, was a little behind him. It'll be 3rd down.
Well, clearly they're in four down territory here. Should have been a completion there. I thought that ball was behind him, but definitely catchable. The guy is hand savvy as Golden Tate is.
Stafford fakes. He's on the move for the end zone. And incomplete. Tim Wright was out of bounds.
We had a touchdown almost similar to this earlier in the game, and wow, I'm surprised.
They're bringing out the field goal unit.
Yeah, Tim Wright's got to catch that ball. Not that he would have been in bounds if he would have caught this, but he gave himself an opportunity.
And the fans don't like this field goal try.
Well, you're putting a lot on your defense. If you're going to attempt this field goal, I mean, they are attempting this field goal.
Unless they fake it.
They're not going to fake it. I think they're thinking they can get a stop. Kick the field goal here. Get a stop on defense. You got a minute to come down and win it.
From 32 yards out, Matt Prater hit from earlier from 39, and he cuts into the Bears' lead. But on 4th and 4, they pass up a chance to try and get more. It's a long-time rivalry that began back in the 30s. It's another tight one between the Bears and Lions. Well, that Lion fan may be asking, how could Jim Caldwell on 4th and 4 go for a field goal trailing by 7 down there? Even if you don't get it, your defense can try and pin the Bears in there with under 3 minutes to play and all 3 timeouts. It's only a 7-point game, or it was until the field goal. Now it's a 4-point Bears lead. A short kick. And Mark Mariani has it and heads out of bounds at the 20. Colin Cowherd is on FS1. Tune in. Hear big stories and guests like Howie Long and Champ Bailey. The Herd. Weekdays, noon Eastern on FS1. Well, Rhonda, your winless football team, you're playing at home. What about that decision to play it safe by Caldwell and take 3?
I'm with you, Chris. There's not a lot to lose in that situation. I mean, you're putting, like I said at the time, you're putting a lot on your defense. Now, whether Chicago comes out and is conservative and tries to eat this clock, you get 3 and out, yes, you have a chance, but
you're still going to need a touchdown.
You're still going to need a touchdown. Exactly right. Still going to need a touchdown, but I don't know. I would have gone for it. It's just my opinion. I'm not a head coach in the NFL. But you got nothing to lose on this.
No, you played in the NFL, though, and I'm sure you know how it feels in these situations. Matt Forte fighting hard, getting up to the 24-yard line. He had the touchdown run. Quick timeout used by the Lions. They'll have 2 remaining. The clock stopped 2:38.
Now, if they get a stop here on defense, the decision will be rewarded, and you'll put it right back on your offense to go down in a 2-minute drill and score. And again, remember, you'll have an extra stoppage in play because of the 2-minute warning here. But it is imperative that these guys, especially these guys up front for this Detroit Lions defense, control the gaps in the running game, keep Matt Forte from falling forward, give them a chance, or at least give their offense a chance at the end of the game here.
19 carries in the game for Forte, 64 rushing yards. He's caught 3 passes. And over 500 rushing yards on the season for Forte, halfway to 1,000 in week 6. Hoping to help the Bears put this game on ice.
180!
Forte and the Lions stuff him at the 25. It'll bring up 3rd down. And another timeout. Detroit will have 1 remaining. 2 minutes, 35 seconds to play. Well, the Lions seem to have this game well in hand, but then there were turnovers. T.J. Jones, and Bellamy takes away the muff punt. And a ball that bounced awkwardly off the foot of a Lion, recovered by Chicago. And then Stafford's miscue, which allowed the Bears and Forte to score the touchdown. And the 2-point conversion, at the time making it a 7-point difference. Right now it's a 4-point difference.
I don't feel like Detroit is a bad football team. Obviously, the record says they are a bad football team. But the mistakes that were just highlighted right there, those are things that happen to bad football teams. It's why they're 0-5. Seen it over and over again. Crunch time, they haven't been able to make plays. They got to get a stop here on 3rd down and give themselves any chance to win this one.
Matt Forte will not get the first down. The Bears played it safe, run, putting their defense on the spot. Lions use their last timeout. They'll still have the 2-minute warning to stop the clock with 2:31 to play.
And now we get to see what Matt Stafford is all about here in the 4th quarter. He had such a good start to this football game, Chris, and then they just kind of went in quicksand. It's been slow motion, really, by this offense. They haven't had the time-consuming, yard-eating, eating drives that we saw in the first half. They get an opportunity here to go down the field and win this thing.
And Golden Tate is coming back to receive the punt for the first time today. Often in the past used as a punt returner.
Sure-handed, he's elusive, he's great in the open field. Great decision, I think. Put your best player back there, let him make a play.
Pat O'Donnell with a high kick, fair catch waved for at the 34 of Detroit. After complimenting Jim Caldwell on the fake punt, which gained 30, questioning settling for 3 instead of going for the touchdown on 4th and 4.
Well, if he scores here, if they go down and score a touchdown here to win this football game, he's going to prove us all wrong. And Matthew Stafford's getting his opportunity. Good job by that Lions defense to get a stop. Pretty predictable by Chicago, the 3 runs and out. He gives himself a chance. That's all you can ask for. If you're a quarterback in this situation, you're a receiver on this offense, this is what you practice every single week. 2-minute drills to win the football game. They got a chance to do it right now.
Stafford underneath. Riddick with a first down. Theo Riddick all the way inside the 33 of Chicago.
Man, this kid is explosive, isn't he? Fitting the mold, much like Reggie Bush did a couple of years ago. Actually, he started taking the role of Reggie Bush last year. It's a huge play to get this 2-minute drive going here.
Amir Abdullah runs out into the huddle as we have hit the 2-minute warning. Slipping some tackles for Riddick. The Lions trailing, but have the football and are on the move. With Rondé Barber, Chris Myers, we welcome those of you who watched the Jets defeat the Redskins, trailing by 4 with no timeouts. The Lions and Matthew Stafford trying to rally against the Bears. Sideline throw is caught. Lance Moore.
What a great throw that was, and what a great adjustment by Lance Moore to make that catch. Probably about his 4th big catch of the day, isn't it, Chris? Behind, back shoulder type of throw. Big catch by the veteran receiver.
He had a touchdown earlier, a gain of 26. 8 completions for Stafford today of 20 yards or more. Calvin Johnson has 3 of those. 1st and goal with Riddick the back. Theo Riddick the carry. It's down inside the 2. Three turnovers by the Lions cost him the lead in this game. A fake punt by Jim Caldwell set up a field goal. They passed on a chance to go for more on 4th and 4.
2 big plays by this Detroit Lions offense to get this 2-minute drive going. We got an injured Bear.
And that's going to...
First, team timeout, Chicago, due to injury inside of 2 minutes.
Jay Ratliff is the injured player who will cost the Bears a timeout. They have 2 remaining. The Lions have none. Matthew Stafford has 4 game-winning touchdown passes in the final 30 seconds. Also a quarterback sneak for a win with 12 seconds left.
And if you're this Chicago Bears defense, though, Chris, you got a couple of options. I mean, there's always the option of letting them score and then giving the ball back to your offense with, say, 40 seconds left in the game, which is enough time for them to go down and win the football game. But from their perspective, they got to know that Detroit, with no timeouts left, has to go to the end zone. They got some one-on-one matchups on the outside. You see if these corners can stand up. Calvin Johnson at the top of your screen, one-on-one versus Tracy Porter.
Matthew Stafford, end zone, nothing. Something got crossed on that play. Golden Tate was the only receiver on that side of the field.
You know, what he wanted was Calvin Johnson over there, but right after we circled him, not that this is, we cause this, but another defender went out there to double Calvin Johnson, and he knew his read was down at the bottom of the screen where Golden Tate had one-on-one.
We welcome those of you that watch the Steelers defeat the Arizona Cardinals here at Ford Field. With Rondé Barber, Chris Myers, 44 seconds to go, and the Lions facing a 3rd and goal. Stafford just tossing one through the end zone. He has 3 touchdown passes in this game. Detroit turnovers in the second half allowed Forte to reach the end zone and for the Bears to lead. Here comes a flag, and a really late flag.
Intentional grounding on the offense. The quarterback was in the pocket and threw it into an area where there was not a receiver. That is also a 10-second runoff.
This is an unbelievable call.
Please reset the clock to 34 seconds, please.
At this juncture in the game, and when Stafford threw in the area of Tate, it looked like Tate wasn't expecting the football at all.
Like I said, I think that play was designed for a one-on-one on the other side of the field. And I think Matthew Stafford's clearly in the pocket here, and Golden Tate's running a in-and-out route. You know what? I don't. That's the right call.
Let's check with our rules analyst, Mike Pereira. Mike.
Actually, a very simple ruling here. He can throw the ball away, but there has to be a receiver outside the number, and it has to be over his head. And Tate was not in that area. He got that information from the line of scrimmage official. It's the right call.
So on 3rd and goal, end zone throw is overthrown. And now, with under 30 seconds to play, there is a flag down in the backfield where Stafford let the ball go.
And they're going to get Jarvis Jenkins, I think, on an roughing the passer penalty.
I mean, this will be a first down at a half the distance.
Well, it's going to go.
That's the call.
It's going to go right back to where it was, where the previous line of scrimmage was, and they're going to get 4 more downs to do this.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 92, defense. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
I'm sorry, I said Jarvis Jensen is Pernell McPhee's right there on the end of your line of scrimmage. He has a great move up and under, but this play is clearly done when he goes to his legs, and it doesn't look as malicious
I don't know
as I thought.
I don't know about that call. Yeah, with Stafford playing this out a little, I mean.
I just saw the flag come in late. I was looking at the play down the field, saw Pernell McPhee at his knees, and thought that, yes, that was the right call.
Well,
they're continuing to huddle
and discuss this.
The clock operator did not wind the clock on the previous play, so reset the clock to 25 seconds, please. 25 seconds.
Let's take one more look at this hit, and he's clean to the quarterback, and
no, he's trying to avoid.
He's trying to avoid
he just
him.
Put
Yes,
his arm
out. Yeah, I
he
agree
wasn't
with you,
going
Chris.
for the. He wasn't going for the knees, but it sets up 1st and goal for the Lions.
Talk about getting a break. That's a huge break. Would have been 4th down at the 21-yard line.
And 25 seconds to play. End zone throw. Touchdown Lions! Calvin Johnson.
We've been looking for Calvin Johnson all second half, and he finally shows up when it matters. A fortuitous call on 3rd down, and here is a slant, and he's just too big for Tracy Porter. Nice throw, great catch, and the Lions are ahead again.
Well, he had 3 catches in the first half. That's his only catch in the second half. His second touchdown of the season, and Stafford another late second toss that just might be good enough for the Lions' first win of the year. Controversial penalties in the closing seconds, but the bottom line is the Lions lead by 3. Bears have 2 timeouts, but only 21 seconds.
Man-to-man on the outside. Vic Fangio puts his corners in this situation. And you remember last week, Tracy Porter had a big 3rd down stop against Kansas City that got them the ball back. But here, he's not able to stand up against the re-emerging Calvin Johnson. It's hard to say that because the guy is just so dominant, or has been so dominant, but he's been quiet this year. He showed up today for us, Chris.
And what a drive from Matthew Stafford. A 4-touchdown game, but he had the flip interception that cost his team the lead. And taking the field goal, Jim Caldwell knew what he was doing, apparently.
He absolutely knew what he was doing. And he must have had more faith in his defense than a lot of people, because they got the 3 stops.
And his offense.
And his offense, absolutely. Matt Stafford has been a different guy today than we've seen in previous 4-5 games of the season. Clutch drive, some clutch plays, one by Theo Riddick, a bunch of nice catches.
The debatable call against
by the
Pernell
receivers.
McPhee.
But debatable call for sure against McPhee. Lance Moore comes up big. He has over 100 yards today. And you got to give the Lions credit for sticking in here and coming up with the lead with 21 seconds left in this football game.
But it's not over yet. The Bears have pulled out last-second victories and have one more chance with 21 seconds to play. John Fox hoping for a rally from Jay Cutler, and this was the Lions'
Watch Theo Riddick use the referee as a pick there, pick up huge yardage on that first play of that 2-minute drive. And then you got the immaculate catch here by Lance Moore over the defensive back. And then the pump fake, or I'm sorry, the penalty that got them a first down at the 6-yard line. And Matthew Stafford on the very next play hits Calvin Johnson for the go-ahead touchdown. Great job. Much maligned he's been. Was benched last week. Everybody in Detroit was hating on Matthew Stafford. He comes out today and has thrown for over 300 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Jay Cutler's throw caught on the sideline and out of bounds. Alshon Jeffrey. Only 15 seconds, career long for Robbie Gould. 57-yard field goal. 54 his long this season. And the red line is the mark where the Bears need to get the ball to in just 15 seconds to give their kicker a chance for the tie.
2 timeouts though, Chris. You get some completions to the outside. This is absolutely doable for Jay Cutler in this offense.
There's a flag. Jeffrey made the catch and went out of bounds.
Josh Wilson cannot cover Alshon Jeffrey right now.
Pass interference, number 30, defense. Ball be placed in the spot of the foul. First down.
They may want to take the yardage on the catch unless it gives them more time.
No, I think they'll take this yardage. Absolute confidence here in Jay Cutler, and a guy he's only thrown to once all year. 2 huge plays to start this 2-minute drive, or this last second drive for them.
The pass was complete. The penalty will be declined. First down.
Because it already puts them in field goal range for Robbie Gould with 9 seconds remaining. Let's see the spot. They're putting it at the 31.
Do you play for overtime here, or do you take a shot for the end zone? That's the question on that Chicago Bears sideline.
Right now you're looking at a 49-yard field goal try. 9 seconds, 2 timeouts.
Alshon Jeffrey in the slot again, matched up on Josh Wilson.
Jay Cutler, incomplete. Here comes a flag again. Marquise Wilson was the receiver going down the sideline. Darius Slay covering. 4 seconds remain.
Pass interference, number 23. Defense. Ball be placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
Well, you're definitely disappointed if you're Detroit. Darius Slay playing bump and run on the line of scrimmage, but he doesn't put his hands on him. It's run and bump. Why are you even up there if you're not going to put your hands on him at the line of scrimmage? Then you panic down the field. You get a big play and give really a chip shot here for Robbie Gould to tie this football game.
He has not missed a field goal this year. He's made 3 today from 27, 23, and 38. This will be from 29 for the tie. Pat O'Donnell, the holder, and Robbie Gould ties it up in Detroit. The Bears' all-time scorer with another clutch kick. After a dramatic comeback from Matthew Stafford and the Lions. And the Bears and Cutler are all about comebacks. After going 0-3 to start the year, they began the comeback with 2:05 on the clock. Cutler sets him up for the Robbie Gould field goal. And then last week against Kansas City, in fact, Adam Gase, the offensive coordinator, said, "I've never seen a quarterback make a play like that." Cutler, the touchdown toss to Forte for the back-to-back wins by a total of 3 points. And now Gould as the clock expires for overtime. 3 plays, 61 yards in 21 seconds by the Bears.
Hey, you think Jay Cutler's happy to have Alshon Jeffrey back? I think he answered that question here.
And then we're going to play a 15-minute overtime period. Each team will have 2 timeouts. Replay will be upstairs. All right. Chicago is the visiting team. They'll call it. Choice is heads. It is tails. Detroit will receive. Detroit will receive. Good luck, men.
Lions and Bears. Overtime from Ford Field on Fox. You heard our referee go over the overtime rules. Both teams' opportunity possess unless on this initial possession there's a touchdown or safety. Each team with 2 timeouts, all replays from upstairs as Amir Abdullah back in the game will down it, and the Lion offense takes over at the 20-yard line. The last time the Lions played an overtime game, week 16 in 2013 in a loss to the Giants. And for the Bears, it was 2014, the opening week, a loss to Buffalo.
I think it's a good thing that Detroit has the ball here. Their defense is completely worn down, giving up 60 yards in pass plays on that last drive with 21 seconds, man. They had a chance to win their first game of the year, and they weren't able to stand out. Let's see what Matt Stafford could do, see if he doesn't give them an opportunity to get back on the field.
Golden Tate, looks like. Make that Theo Riddick on the carry. And Abdullah, who is back to receive the kick, has still not come back in to run the football for the Lions. Golden Tate had an unusual touchdown. A ball that bounced around was overruled that the Bears intercepted. There have been a number of unusual plays, including a rash of penalties in the closing moments that allowed us to be where we are. Riddick remains the back. Lance Morris, bottom of your screen, turns around for the throw, and it's out of bounds. It'll be 3rd and 4.
Got to get first downs here, and obviously when Chicago gets the football back, if they're not able to convert, a field goal will win the football game for them. So Matt Stafford got to realize this game still in his control. 3rd and 5 situation here. Get a completion, get this ball moving, and try to go win your first football game of the year.
Need to get to the 30 for a first down. Stafford's throw is caught at the 30. Falling forward is Corey Fuller. They'll give him the mark. And it should be good enough. It is a first down, and that's big for the reason you just said. Rondé, the field position game.
That was a great catch by Corey Fuller. I haven't mentioned his name today as a receiver.
That's his first catch of the game, but it's a big one for a first down. Along with Rondé Barber, Chris Myers. Glad you're watching the NFL on Fox. The Lions 0-5, the Bears 2-3. On first down, Stafford from the pocket completes. And how did he get open? Calvin Johnson with another first down up to the 44-yard line. The biggest guy standing in the middle of the field.
Well, Chicago drops back into a deep, deep zone. Watch the middle of the field right here. There's nobody in there. And Matthew Stafford says, thanks. Biggest guy on the field, 81. Calvin Johnson, you guys know him. Just leave him wide open.
And Calvin over 100 yards receiving today on that his 5th catch. And had what looked to be the game-winning touchdown catch before the Bears rallied to force overtime.
Back 58, ready, 59, yellow 20, yellow 20. We got attack 58, ready, you 80, please out.
Stafford for Calvin Johnson out of bounds. Tracy Porter back in the coverage. Stafford over 300 yards passing and 4 touchdowns. Did suffer the interception. 3 turnovers in this game by the Lions. Jay Cutler with a touchdown pass. Jeremy Langford and Matt Forte with touchdown runs for Chicago.
Ready,
Riddick hit hard, knocked down just across the 46-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd down.
I think it's a good job by Detroit here, being patient in their play calling here. You take a shot on first down, pretty obvious that you're going to run on second down. They didn't get the yardage that they wanted. You set up a 3rd and long here for Matthew Stafford, but the field position has changed. It's a lot more comfortable feeling. But again, I don't know that I want their defense back on the field. They have been a sieve so far here in the second half. Jay Cutler has been really good.
Stafford is going to go down. The Bears with Pernell McPhee, who had that controversial penalty called on the late hit. He gets the sack.
And this is a great sack, a timely sack for Pernell McPhee. Out here on the edge of the defense, just runs a little right over, puts him on skates, puts Waddell on skates, power rusher. He's a heavy-handed defender. Everybody talks about that rush, and we showed up for the first time today when it mattered.
2nd sack after the loss of 7. Mark Mariani chasing it to the 5. Dances his way up across the 20. A healthy return to dig him out of a bit of a hole. Just over 11 minutes to play here in overtime. Jake Cutler, 25 out of 36, also over 340 yards.
Big day for Alshon Jeffrey today, coming back from his hamstring injury.
8 catches, 147 yards for him on a touchdown. And now the Bears know that a field goal wins it for either team.
5-7.
Forte into a crowd, gets very little. 22 carries, Forte averaging just 3 yards a carry.
I think for the most part, they've been really good up front. That's been a weakness of this defense. They were #1 in the league last year in run defense. Been somewhat less than that, a lot less than that actually this year. But today against the leading rusher in the league coming into this week, they've been solid.
5 receivers out for Cutler on 2nd down. He has plenty of time, and that's Eddie Royal, who loses the football. It bounced on the turf. Let's see if he got it back or if they're going to say it's not a catch.
I think this is clearly a catch. It's a great route by him.
And the Bears keep the football. It's going to be short of the first down. Martellus Bennett may have come up with the football that Royal could not hold on to.
Just a choice route. That's what you call a choice route in the NFL. You know, if they review this, they might review this.
Third down.
They might want to review this. I don't know that he ever had control of this thing before he dropped it.
Well, that's why. That's why we saw one signal. But again, all reviews have to come upstairs and are initiated by
do it right now.
The officiating crew.
The previous play will be reviewed.
We're going to watch this in real-time speed, and the officials watch it both ways.
Yeah, I think in fast motion, it's definitely an incompletion. Slow motion, maybe you could have said he made a couple of steps, but he never had a clear grasp of that football. And I'd be surprised. I'm not going to predict anything more. These refs, these refs prove me wrong so many times over, but I think that's an incompletion.
Well, we had a catch, no catch in the end zone for Golden Tate. Wound up being an interception. The officials, when they review this, and there's Walt Coleman again, the most senior of the officials, they can go frame by frame. They can watch it in slow motion, in the natural motion that we just watched, as our rules analyst Mike Pereira goes over with us all the time on the rules. And Mike Pereira, our rules analyst.
I'm with you.
You're with us. Go ahead, Mike.
Well, it's kind of one of those where it looked like when I first saw it live that it was a catch and a fumble, but he never really maintained control of the ball long enough to become a runner. So to me, you've got to reverse this to an incomplete pass. You're going to watch here. Got to see clear control. You see the ball loose. Bobble quickly has it for a second, but then loses it when he's trying to tuck it back in. So I would certainly have to think, although, Rhonda, you and I haven't been too good in this lately.
We've been bad, haven't we?
I think.
What do you call the shape? What do you call the shape of the football, Mike?
It's called a prolate spheroid.
There you
it's
go.
Tough to maintain control of that prolate
It's tough
spheroid.
to hold on to that thing spheroid you're talking about, but let's see what Walt Coleman has come away with.
After reviewing the play, rulings changed. The pass is incomplete. It'll be 3rd and 10. Please reset the clock to 10:39, please. 10:39, please.
Our thanks to Mike Pereira, who's watching all the games Sunday and ready to step in whenever his expert analysis or vocabulary is needed.
We've needed him a lot today, haven't we?
We have.
Monumentous moment there that we were both correct.
And the officiating crew, the idea is to get it right. If that's what they do at the end of the day, well, then God bless them.
Yep.
On 3rd and 10. Martellus Bennett with the catch and the first down, maybe. Right to the marker. Needed to get to the 31.
Well, this is going to be close
and that
here.
6'6" frame, remember that yellow line is superimposed to help as a guideline. And where they spotted the ball, I don't know. And Bennett is hurt. It was actually, John Fox said it was more of a hip that was bothering him during practice this week than the quad, but let's see how far he moved the football up the field.
Just a little zone defense by Detroit. They've been playing a lot of man coverage. On this instance, they play zone. You can see when he got tackled there.
Josh Wilson lost his helmet.
Yeah, Josh Wilson comes in and really kind of twists up his leg a little bit.
They're going to measure, see if it's 1st or 4th down. And he just did get it. It is a game of lengths and then inches.
Well, this length works in favor of the Chicago Bears there, but Detroit Lions, when it mattered most, 3rd and 8, allowing a free runner through a zone. It was just an easy completion for that first down.
What a great game, exciting game this has been for two teams in the lower portion of the NFC North.
5-5. 5-5.
battling it out.
This play will be reviewed.
They're also going to review the spot, which, again, that automatically happens upstairs by the officiating crew. The officials use the line, but as a guideline. It's not official.
Look at that right there. Go back a little bit on that. Look at his left elbow. Right. Stop it right there. That is on the ground right there. And that ball is not to that yellow line. And when they placed that ball, it was touching that yellow line. I think this might come back short of the line of gain here.
Well, they already ruled the Eddie Royal catch and no catch. Mike Pereira's watching along with us.
Yeah, welcome back, Mike. Let's go. What do we got?
Josh, I've been gone for a long time. Here I am back again, and I think it's short. And I think you actually showed the live shot, which they'll, and Chris, we've talked about this, they don't really use the yellow line because it's not really, it's not always accurate. But here you can look, he actually had to get down, or to the 29-yard line, had to get to the 29. And you can see that the ball is down, left elbow is down. So knowing with the measurement how close it was, if you back it up, he didn't reach that yard line. So to me, I think you've got a fourth down play coming up.
Needed to get to the 31 on the field. There has to be enough to overturn
All right, 31.
Mike, as you always tell us, right, then, so it was ruled a catch on the field, and then they measured. Now they took a closer look.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field has changed. The ball will be respotted a football length behind the first down.
So it is fourth down, and Bennett was walking over toward the sideline.
Yeah, just watch this side judge here as he comes. You see him on the top of your screen up here, and watch him coming in late trying to find this spot, and he just doesn't see where that elbow is. And again, it's an inexact science. They do the best they can. And he's got to chase down a play and find the spot. So it's good that we're in overtime. We're able to get a replay for them to get that correct.
Golden Tate back again to receive for the second time the punt. Pat O'Donnell standing at the 20, and he booms it away. A high kick moving Tate back. Fair catch called for. And it's a field position game. Remember, we could still wind up tied if we go through this segment of the game and no one scores. But a field goal with safety, any kind of score, ends it.
Yeah, that's what Walt Coleman was just telling the audience here. That the next score, regardless of what it is, wins the football game.
And this audience, the Lion fans who were so frustrated last week, this was a team where even Jim Caldwell said some guys who quit, we spotted the ones who they were, had to call them out, address the issue.
Yeah, they were just uncompetitive last week, and that has certainly not been the case today. They've made their mistakes. They've been a competitive football team. Put on a good show here today, Chris.
Amir Abdullah back in the game. Here comes a flag as he is stopped short of the 25-yard line.
Holding, number 77, offense. 10-yard, half the distance to the goal, first down.
Cornelius Lucas, who has been brought in as an extra lineman. Remember, Brandon Pettigrew and Eric Ebron inactive today. So Tim Wright, who has a touchdown catch, the only active tight end.
You'll see him coming in here on the right of your screen, right there on Unrein, and that's, pretty clear hold. Underneath the shoulders, twisting the body, and that is the penalty. That penalty you do not want in this situation. Chris just mentioned that it's a field position game. You're way behind the sticks here. Tough chances to get a first down.
Abdullah remains the back. On first down, Stafford to throw, and knocked down right away is Tim Wright. Clock continues to run.
You're going to have to get some plays down the field here and try to make this a manageable third down. You know, you're 2nd and 19 that it is, or 2nd and 20 still. No gain on that play.
Need to get all the way up to the 28-yard line
it's just
for
a long
first
way
down.
to go. Long way to go. And if you punt from a backed up situation, you're usually putting your team in a position where the receiving team in a position where they only need one first down, they can get a field goal attempt.
Stafford incomplete, trying to go to right again, but well covered. Jonathan Anderson, who has an interception in this game, dropped back into coverage, and it'll be 3rd and 18.
Now, just talking about finding a completion here, and they decide to dial up 4 seams and try a difficult pass down the middle of the field in a 2-deep high defense. And with the incompletion, now you got a 3rd and 20. I mean, there's nothing you can do here. There's no play in any playbook dialed up to convert 3rd and 20. A run and catch, maybe? We'll see what they got going.
From the 10-yard line, Stafford stepping back to his 1-yard line is going to keep it, trying to get some field position for the punter. He'll get knocked down at the 18. It'll be 4th down. Again, McManus coming up from the corner spot.
That wasn't impressive at all, was it, Chris? I mean,
well,
the penalty hurts you, of course, and you're backed up, but you got to get some yardage on 1st and 2nd down there and give yourself a chance to convert 3rd down.
It allows the Bears to take advantage of good field position. Mariani back at the 37 of Chicago. They set up for the return. Nice kick. Pushes him back to the 22. And he will be brought down right away. An excellent special teams. Don Carey of the Lions. Next week, it's an NFL on Fox doubleheader. The Vikings will take on these Lions here at Ford Field. Then an NFC East showdown, America's Game of the Week. The Cowboys battle the Giants. The Bears are idle next week. And then they take on the Vikings at home in Chicago.
What a kick that was. That was 55 yards.
60
yards in
yard
the air.
Kick without a return, and now back at the 22. He flipped the field position.
Yeah, he did.
Matt Forte. Lions continue to keep him from busting anything. His longest run of the day is 11 yards. He's averaging only 3 a carry.
They're dialed in. You know, this Detroit Lions defensive line does a good job, or they have in the past done a good job stopping the run on their way to the quarterback, and today they're doing the same thing. I'm looking for Ziggy Ansah right now, the right defensive end, who's leading the league in sacks, down here to make an impact play. Let's see if he can get to the quarterback here, help Detroit.
He came in with 5, tied for the NFL lead. Again, it's Forte. Trying to bounce outside, spins around and knocked down at the 25. Darius Slay from the corner spot, and that's 3rd down.
Both teams real patient on offense here.
Almost a little too cautious, too careful.
It's like it's in the middle of the game. It's what it feels like. It's hard to feel the urgency of an overtime for either team here. Running the ball, being cautious with your play calling. I mean, I assume you don't want the turnover. These teams have been explosive today, and it's gone back into slow motion here.
Blitz picked up. Cutler's throw, and it's incomplete. Alshon Jeffrey was locked up with Darius Slay, and there are no flags.
And now the situation's reversed. A backed up punt, or somewhat backed up punt by Chicago here should give good field position, but good defense by Darius Slay. It's going to be a back shoulder throw, and just gets his hand in a nice deflection there.
Well, Pat O'Donnell boomed a 72-yard punt in Week 3 against Seattle. It's the 2nd longest punt in the NFL this year, and that's the longest by a Bear in 13 years. Let's see what he's got here. From the 24-yard line, Golden Tate. There's some room for Tate. And out of bounds up across the 45 of the Lions. All the way, there's a flag down as well. He got all the way up to the 48-yard line. Flag back inside the 25.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 98 of the return team. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
The call on Devin Taylor And that will put the field position advantage back in the hands of the Bears.
And he's right there in the middle of your screen there, right on the hash. Hands on the back. Golden Tate was already past that point of confrontation. I'm not sure why he felt the need to do that. But again, backs your team up. Almost in the same situation they were on the last drive.
6 minutes, 23 seconds remaining in overtime. That penalty pushes them all the way back inside their own 14. Amir Abdullah at the back. Had a fumble earlier, but jumped on it. And Stafford gets out of it. Flips to Abdullah. And up the sideline he goes.
Man, have we seen some elusive plays by quarterbacks today? Both Jay Cutler and Matt Stafford.
Stafford limping after a gain of 13, but it looked like he was going to be sacked. First down at now the 27-yard line of Detroit. Each team still has their 2 overtime timeouts. Stafford, you can tell physically, not moving well. Golden Tate waiting for a block, but a nice tackle dropping him right away by Kyle Fuller. And the bounce of the football with Golden Tate has been funny in this game. Earlier it was a touchdown, interception, no touchdown. They reviewed it, and this was a big play that went in favor of the Lions. And after it was reviewed, Walt Coleman, remember the official, he refereed the tuck rule game between the Raiders and Patriots back in 2002, that historic AFC playoff game. Had a wild one there. Stafford underneath, Abdullah knocked down. It'll bring up third down and need to get to the 42 for a first down. Under 5 to play in overtime.
Chicago defense, it's turned into a defensive game here in overtime, Chris.
The last tie we had in the NFL through overtime was Carolina and Cincinnati, 2014. Last year we called that game tied at 37.
Okay.
Pass is caught. That's Lance Moore, but it's going to be close.
Real close here.
And again, another review would be called. That spot's pretty favorable for the Lions based on where the marker is.
Yeah, I think that's a first down. And obviously, he maintains possession of the ball. Clear catch. Spot was good. It's going to be a first down.
The effort on every play, every snap in this game, and that was tremendous effort to get the first down.
Man, Lance Moore is the offensive MVP for this Detroit Lions offense today. 5th catch, well over 100 yards. 20-something yard average, 21-yard average. Big touchdown earlier in the game as well. First touchdown.
From the 37-yard line, just over 4 minutes to play.
Back 52. Ready. Number 20. Number 20. Ready. Waiting.
Amir Abdullah knocked out of bounds. Roy Reynolds making the play. Reynolds, a free agent from Virginia who played for Jacksonville, has kind of figured his way into the Bears defense.
Yeah, starting today because of Shea McClellan's injury. Came into the game last week when he was hurt. Been mostly a special teams player. He was in Jacksonville and getting his opportunity. He showed up a little bit today. Big play there. First down, getting the runner out of bounds.
No gain on the play. Stafford on second down. Deep for Calvin Johnson, who makes the catch.
What are you going to do?
He's 6'5".
A scramble play, you're Harold Jones-Quartey, and you end up on this dude right here. And put this on Matt Stafford. This ball was supposed to go to Golden Tate right there in the flat. Passed it off to the safety, and Calvin Johnson just keeps running. 50-50 ball, which is more like a 70-30 or 80-20 ball when 81's involved. And it's a huge, huge play for the Detroit Lions, and they look like they're in position to win this football game.
And they have a timeout to catch their breath all the way down to the 6-yard line. A 57-yard heave by Stafford, who puts himself over the 400-yard passing mark. But he's more interested in getting a win. And if the Lions are going to win this game, they will have truly earned it. You could just line up and kick a field goal right now if you want.
Well, it depends where you want your kicker to kick from. I think you can put your offense out there maybe in one run play, but I think Prater's out on the field. No, he's not. They're going to run one more play, try to get to the hash mark that he prefers. Maybe a quarterback sneak here just to move the football, and then bring your kicker in to win the football game.
548 yards of total offense by the Lions, the most by any team in the league this year. Stafford slides up the 10, gets it over to the hash mark on the other side for Matt Prater.
You got a right-footed kicker. I'm sure he prefers the left hash, kicking back into the field goal.
He came in with the fewest field goal attempts of any kicker in the league or any team, and so far today, 2 out of 2, Matt Prater. The last winless team in the NFL, and Prater has a chance to erase that with one kick.
And how about the big plays in this game, Chris? Huge plays down the field in this game.
And the Bears use a timeout.
Chicago, 30-second timeout.
Prater does have 8 game-winning field goals to his credit. This one will mean a little bit more to the folks in Detroit and Lions fans everywhere.
Well, we talked earlier in this game, even in the open, about this not being as bad an 0-5 team as you might expect. You know, they've been in football games, and you got to give them their credit. They were resilient today. They were down after leading almost the entire game. Come back on a big drive. We questioned the 4th down field goal attempt. They go down and score, and now they're sitting ready to win the football game on the foot of Matt Prater.
From 27 yards in overtime, Matt Prater, and the Lions have a win in 2015. And had to go to overtime to do it. '71 total points in what used to be the black and blue division. It was that kind of game in the NFC North. The State Farm postgame show continues from Ford Field here in Detroit, where the Lions have won their first game of the season.